Hello guys, welcome to Scion What Ifs. So in this video, we will see what if Goku fell into the Naruto universe with full power. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, A Collision of Worlds. The sky split open above Konoha without warning. One moment, Ninja Academy students were practicing shuriken throws in the yard while shopkeepers argued with customers over prices in the market district. The next, a thunderous crack echoed across the village, drawing every eye upward to where the clear blue sky had torn apart like fabric. A swirling vortex of purple and gold energy pulsed at its center, lightning arcing outward in jagged forks. What the hell is that? Naruto Uzumaki shouted, shielding his eyes against the intense light as he stood in the training grounds with Sakura and Sasuke. They'd been waiting for Kakashi, late as usual, when the phenomenon began. Sasuke's Sharingan activated instinctively, his eyes narrowing as he tried to make sense of what he was seeing. That's not a genjutsu. That energy, it doesn't feel like chakra. Before Sakura could add her analysis, a figure plummeted from the center of the vortex, falling like a meteor toward the forest outside the village gates. The impact shook the ground beneath their feet, a massive dust cloud billowing upward from the crash site. Someone just fell out of that thing. Naruto was already running toward the village gates. Come on. By the time they reached the crater, a small crowd of jonin had already formed the perimeter. The dust was settling to reveal a man-sized depression in the earth. Inside stood a figure, casually brushing dirt from his bright orange GI. Man, that was some ride, the stranger said, stretching his arms over his head as if he'd just woken from a nap rather than fallen from the sky. Where am I anyway? The assembled ninja stared in stunned silence. The stranger looked human, wild black hair that defied gravity, a muscular but not overly bulky frame, and a cheerful, open face that seemed oddly relaxed given the circumstances. Nothing about him suggested the power that had torn open the sky. Kakashi Hatake stepped forward, having arrived with remarkable speed for someone chronically late to team meetings. You're outside Konoha village in the land of fire. His visible eye scanned the stranger carefully. I think the more important question is who you are and how you created that dimensional rift. Dimensional rift? Is that what that was? The man scratched the back of his head. Ha. Name's Son Goku. And honestly, I have no idea what happened. 1 minute I was training with Whis, then this weird energy grabbed me and next thing I know, I'm falling through that colorful tunnel thing. He looked around at the tense ninja surrounding him and grinned. You guys are all pretty strong, huh? I can sense your energy, though it feels different somehow. 2 ANBU Black Ops members flickered into position behind Goku, kunai drawn, only to find themselves grasping at empty air as Goku simply wasn't there anymore. Whoa, you guys are jumpy. Goku's voice came from behind them. He stood examining one of the ANBU masks with curious interest. Cool masks. Are you guys having some kind of tournament? I love a good fight. The ANBU operative spun, visibly shocked by movement they couldn't track. One signaled to the other, and they both lunged again, this time from different angles. Goku sidestepped both attacks without seeming to move, his body flowing around the strikes like water. Hey now, I didn't come here looking for trouble. How did he? Sakura whispered. I didn't even see him move, Sasuke muttered, his Sharingan straining to follow. Naruto pushed forward through the crowd. That was awesome. How'd you move so fast? Some kind of new jutsu. Kakashi raised a hand to halt further attacks from the ANBU. Stand down. If he wanted to harm us, he would have. To Goku, he said, I think it would be best if you came with us to speak with the Hokage. Lady Tsunade will want to hear about how you arrived here. Hokage? Is that your leader? Goku asked, suddenly standing right next to Naruto, examining the blonde ninja's face with interest. You've got a lot of energy in you, kid. Different from the others. Naruto blinked, taken aback both by the man's speed and his observation. That's because I've got the 9 tails inside me. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm gonna be Hokage someday. 9 tails? Like a fox with 9 tails. Inside you? Goku looked even more intrigued, peering at Naruto's stomach. That's wild. Where I come from, we've got this cat god with 2 tails, but 9 is impressive. Naruto. Sakura hissed. You don't just tell strangers about the 9 tails. What? He seems friendly enough, Naruto protested. Kakashi sighed. Let's continue this conversation with the Hokage. Now, please. Sure thing. Goku agreed cheerfully. Then he looked up at the sky, which had sealed itself shut, leaving no trace of the vortex. Though I should probably figure out how to get back home at some point. Vegeta's gonna be mad if I miss our sparring session tomorrow. The crowd parted as Kakashi led their strange visitor toward the village, with Team 7 following close behind. Villagers stopped to stare as they passed, whispering among themselves about the newcomer who had fallen from the sky. So what's this place like? Goku asked, taking in the village with obvious curiosity. I've been to a lot of planets, but this one feels different. The gravity's a bit lighter than I'm used to. Planets? Sakura repeated. You've been to other planets? Sure. Lots of them. Fought some pretty strong guys out there too. Goku flexed his fingers, seeming to test the air around him. The energy here feels different, though. Like it's flowing in patterns. As they approached the Hokage Tower, Tsunade was already waiting outside, her arms crossed and her expression severe. Lady Tsunade, Kakashi greeted with a slight bow. This is Son Goku. He fell from the sky. Tsunade's eyes narrowed as she assessed the stranger. So I heard. Half the village reported what looked like a tear in reality. Care to explain that? Goku shrugged. Wish I could. 1 second I was training, next second I was here. His stomach rumbled loudly. Say, you wouldn't happen to have any food, would you? Dimensional travel really works up an appetite. Tsunade's eyebrow twitched. You tear a hole in our sky, crash land outside our village, and the first thing you ask for is food? Well, yeah, Goku said, as if it were the most natural request in the world. I think better on a full stomach anyway. 20 minutes later, the Hokage's office was filled with stacks of empty bowls. Tsunade, Kakashi, and Team 7 watched in silent amazement as Goku devoured his 30th bowl of ramen, showing no signs of slowing down. This is great! Goku exclaimed between mouthfuls. Not as good as Chi-Chi's cooking, but pretty close. Where does it all go? Sakura whispered, medically fascinated by anyone who could consume that much food. Tsunade cleared her throat. Now that you've eaten half our village's food supply, perhaps you could tell us more about yourself and how you came to be here. Goku set down his bowl. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure how I got here. I'm a scion. Well, I was raised on Earth, but I'm originally from planet Vegeta. I was training with Whis. He's an angel who trains gods of destruction, but he's been helping me master Ultra Instinct, when this weird purple energy started swirling around me. Next thing I know, I'm falling through the sky here. The room fell silent as they tried to process this information. Gods of destruction? Sasuke finally asked, speaking for the first time since they'd entered the office. Yeah, they're in charge of destroying planets to maintain balance in the universe. Each universe has one. I've fought a couple, they're super strong. Goku grinned as if this were perfectly normal conversation. Tsunade exchanged a glance with Kakashi. Let's back up. You're saying you're from another planet, possibly another dimension entirely? Seems that way. The energy here feels completely different. Where I come from, we use ki, life energy. But what you guys have, it feels more structured, like it follows pathways. That would be chakra, Kakashi explained. The combination of physical and spiritual energy that flows through defined pathways in our bodies. Fascinating. Goku's eyes lit up. Can you show me what you can do with it? Tsunade frowned. Before we start demonstrating jutsu to a complete stranger, I'd like to understand the extent of your own abilities. You moved faster than my ANBU could track, according to reports. Oh, that? Goku waved dismissively. That was nothing. I wasn't even using any ki for that, just regular movement. He pushed his chair back and stood. If you want, I could show you a little of what I can do. Might be easier than trying to explain it. Outside, Tsunade decided firmly. Away from the village. 10 minutes later, they stood in a large training ground surrounded by trees. A number of curious jonin had gathered at a distance, including Guy and his student Rock Lee, who had heard about the stranger with incredible speed. All right, Tsunade said, crossing her arms. Show us what you can do, but keep it controlled. Controlled, got it, Goku nodded, stretching his arms over his head. I'll start with the basics. Without any visible effort, Goku rose slowly into the air, hovering about 10 feet off the ground. Gasps rippled through the gathered ninjas. He's flying. Naruto exclaimed. Without any hand signs or jutsu. This is just basic ki control, Goku explained, doing a lazy flip in midair. Anyone can learn it with enough practice. He descended back to the ground and held out his hand, palm up. A small ball of glowing blue energy formed above it, illuminating his face. This is pure ki, life energy. We can shape it in different ways. The ball expanded and contracted at his will, then split into 3 smaller orbs that orbited his hand before recombining. Most impressive, Guy said, stepping forward. But how does it fare in combat? Want to find out? Goku asked with a grin that matched Guy's own enthusiastic smile. I would be honored to test my youthful spirit against your techniques. Guy struck his signature pose, thumb extended. Guy-sensei. Lee exclaimed, eyes burning with admiration. Tsunade sighed but nodded her permission. Just don't destroy the training ground. Guy took his stance, while Goku simply stood relaxed, hands at his sides. Whenever you're ready, Goku offered. Guy disappeared in a blur of speed, reappearing behind Goku with a powerful kick aimed at his head. To everyone's shock, Goku caught Guy's leg with one hand, appearing completely unfazed. You're pretty fast. Goku complimented, genuine appreciation in his voice. Nice form too. Guy flipped away, looking both surprised and excited. Your reflexes are extraordinary. Let's see how you handle this. He charged again, this time unleashing a rapid series of punches and kicks, his signature hurricane of youth technique. Goku weaved between the strikes, moving with fluid grace that seemed impossible for someone facing Guy's speed. Amazing! Lee shouted. He's matching Guy-sensei without even taking a stance. He's not matching him, Sasuke observed, his Sharingan active. He's predicting every move before Guy even makes it. After a full minute of Guy's relentless assault failing to land a single hit, Goku suddenly vanished, reappearing 10 feet away. You're really good. Goku said enthusiastically. Your taijutsu is excellent. You remind me of my old master, Rashi. He's big on physical training too. Guy was breathing heavily but grinning from ear to ear. I've never faced someone who could evade my attacks so completely. Your flames of youth burn brightly, Son Goku. Thanks. Goku replied. Want to see something a little more advanced? At Tsunade's cautious nod, Goku took a slight stance, feet shoulder-width apart. This is called a Kamehameha. I'll keep it small. He cupped his hands at his side, and blue energy began to swirl between them. Ka, me, ha, me. The energy condensed into a brilliant sphere, pulsing with power that made the air itself seem to vibrate. Ha! Goku thrust his hands forward, and a controlled beam of blue energy shot across the training ground, veering upward at the last second to avoid hitting the trees. The beam traveled high into the sky before dispersing in a flash of light that was visible across the entire village. Silence fell over the training ground as everyone stared, dumbfounded. That wasn't even close to full power, was it? Kakashi asked quietly. Goku laughed, scratching the back of his head. Not really. At full power, it could probably take out a mountain. Or a planet, depending on which transformation I'm using. Transformation? Naruto echoed, his eyes wide with excitement. Yeah, I can transform to increase my power level. I've got a bunch of different forms now, Goku explained casually. Each one multiplies my strength, speed, and ki output. Show us, Sasuke demanded, stepping forward with intensity in his eyes. I don't know if that's a good idea, Goku said, suddenly looking more serious. The higher transformations give off a lot of energy. It might disrupt things around here. Just the first level, then, Tsunade suggested, her medical curiosity piqued. Goku considered this, then nodded. Alright, I'll show you Super Saiyan. It's the first transformation I mastered. He took a deeper stance this time, feet planted firmly. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen, then the air around him began to shimmer with heat. Small rocks and debris lifted from the ground, floating upward as if gravity had suddenly reversed. Hiya! Goku's voice rose as he focused his power. A golden aura erupted around him, blinding in its intensity. When the light faded enough for everyone to see clearly again, Goku stood transformed, his black hair now golden and spiking upward, his eyes a piercing teal. The golden aura continued to flicker around him like flames, and the very air seemed charged with electricity. This is Super Saiyan, Goku's voice had a slight echo to it, as if the energy itself was amplifying his words. It multiplies my base power substantially. Naruto's mouth hung open. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's like you're on fire, but you're not burning. Even Sasuke couldn't hide his amazement, his Sharingan recording every detail of the transformation. The energy output is incredible, Kakashi murmured. I can feel the pressure from here. Guy, who had been catching his breath, looked ready to challenge Goku again despite his obvious fatigue. Most impressive. Your power rivals even the 8 gates. Goku powered down, his hair returning to its natural black state, the golden aura vanishing. That's just the beginning. I've got forms way beyond that now, but they might be too intense for this area. Tsunade stepped forward. I think we've seen enough for now. She turned to address the gathered Jonin. Return to your duties. I need to speak with our visitor privately. As the crowd dispersed, many still staring back at Goku in awe, Tsunade gestured for Team 7, Kakashi, and Goku to follow her back to the Hokage Tower. Your abilities are unlike anything we've seen, she said once they were seated in her office again. Even our most powerful Kekii Genkai don't manifest the way your powers do. It's just different training, Goku explained with characteristic humility. Where I come from, lots of people can use ki. Though I've had some pretty good teachers and fought some really strong opponents, which helps. So what now? Naruto asked eagerly. Are you gonna stay in the village? Can you teach me that Super Saiyan thing? Goku laughed. I'm not sure I can teach you Super Saiyan, it's kind of a Saiyan-specific transformation. But I could probably teach you some key basics, if you want. That would be awesome. Hold on, Tsunade interrupted. We still don't know why or how you arrived here. Until we do, I think it's best if you remain in Konoha where we can keep an eye on you. Fine by me. Goku agreed cheerfully. I should try to figure out how to get back eventually, my family's probably wondering where I am, but I'm always up for exploring new places. And it seems like you've got some pretty strong fighters here I could train with. You'll need a place to stay, Kakashi pointed out. He can stay with me. Naruto volunteered immediately. I've got room. Tsunade considered this. That might be best. Naruto, you'll be responsible for our guest. Show him around the village, explain our customs. To Goku, she added, and please try not to demonstrate any planet-destroying techniques within village limits. You got it. Goku gave a thumbs up. Thanks for the hospitality. This is way nicer than some of the places I've ended up before. As they left the Hokage's office, Sakura sidled up next to Naruto. Are you sure about this? We don't really know anything about him. Come on, Sakura, Naruto replied. He seems like a good guy to me. Besides, if he wanted to hurt anyone, he could have done it already. Naruto's right, Kakashi said, surprising them both. Someone with Goku's power level could have leveled the village without breaking a sweat if his intentions were hostile. Better to keep him close and learn what we can. Sasuke, who had been silent since they left the training ground, finally spoke. I want to spar with him. Goku's face lit up. Really? Great. I sensed you were strong when I first saw you. Those eyes of yours are special, right? Sharingan, Sasuke replied. It allows me to see chakra, predict movements, and copy techniques. Copy techniques, huh? That's a neat ability. Though I'm not sure if you can copy key techniques with it. Might be worth trying, though. As they walked through the village, more and more people stopped to stare at the stranger who had fallen from the sky. Word of his demonstration at the training ground had spread quickly, and children ran alongside them, pointing and whispering. You're pretty famous already, Naruto observed with a grin. It usually goes this way, Goku said with a shrug. Show up somewhere new, demonstrate a little power, and suddenly everyone's curious. Happens on every planet. Speaking of planets, Sakura said, her scientific curiosity getting the better of her, how many have you been to? What are they like? Let's see. Goku counted on his fingers. Earth, that's my home, planet Vegeta, where my race is from, though it was destroyed before I ever saw it. Namek, that's where Piccolo's people are from, nice place until Frieza blew it up. Yardrat, where I learned instant transmission. Beerus's planet, where I train with Whis. The Tournament of Power had fighters from all 12 universes, so that's a bunch more planets represented there. You've actually seen other planets get destroyed? Sasuke asked, his interest clearly piqued. Yeah, unfortunately. Some really bad guys out there. This guy Frieza was the worst, he'd blow up planets just for fun. I had to defeat him to save Earth. And you did? Naruto asked, wide-eyed. Eventually, yeah. Took becoming a Super Saiyan for the first time to do it. He was really strong back then. Goku paused, then added casually, he's actually not so bad now. We're kind of allies these days. You became allies with someone who destroys planets? Kakashi asked, his visible eyebrow raised. People change, Goku said simply. Vegeta used to be a villain too, now he's my best friend. Even trained together to reach new levels of power. They reached Naruto's apartment building, and the blonde ninja led the way up the stairs. It's not much, Naruto warned as he unlocked his door, but there's enough room. Goku stepped inside, taking in the small, somewhat messy apartment. It's perfect. Reminds me of my grandpa Gohan's house where I grew up. You can take the bed, Naruto offered. I can sleep on the floor. No need for that. I can sleep anywhere. I'm used to camping outside during training anyway. Kakashi cleared his throat. I'll leave you to get settled. Naruto, bring Goku to Training Ground 3 tomorrow morning at 8. I think it would be beneficial for all of us to learn more about each other's fighting styles. Will do, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto promised. After Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura had left, Naruto eagerly turned to Goku. So, can you really teach me some of your techniques? That came whatever wave looked awesome. Kamehameha, Goku corrected with a smile. And sure, I can try. Though it might be tricky since you use chakra instead of ki. They seem similar but not identical. What's the difference? Goku sat cross-legged on the floor, gesturing for Naruto to join him. Well, from what I can tell, your chakra follows specific pathways in your body, like rivers with banks. Ki flows throughout the entire body more freely, like an ocean. The hand signs you guys use seem to shape the chakra, while we shape ki through mental focus and feeling. Naruto nodded slowly. So how do I start learning ki? First, you have to feel it, Goku explained, holding his palms up. Close your eyes and try to sense the energy around you, not just inside you. Naruto closed his eyes, his face scrunching in concentration. Relax, Goku advised. You're trying too hard. Ki comes naturally when you're calm but focused. Naruto took a deep breath and tried to relax his features. After a minute, he opened one eye. I don't feel anything different. It takes time, Goku assured him. Took me years to master it, and I had a head start being a scion. Let's try something else. He held out his hand, forming a small ball of ki. Try to touch it. Don't worry, it won't hurt you. Naruto cautiously reached out, his fingers passing through the glowing sphere. It's warm. And it kinda tingles. That's ki energy. Your body's recognizing it, even if your mind doesn't know how to control it yet. That's a good start. They practiced for another hour, with Goku demonstrating various ki control exercises and Naruto attempting to replicate them. Though he couldn't produce ki on his own yet, Naruto found he could sense Goku's energy more clearly by the end of their session. You're picking this up pretty quick, Goku said approvingly. Most people take days just to feel ki properly. Naruto beamed at the praise. So, are you hungry again? I could go for some ramen, and Ichiraku makes the best in the village. Sounds great. I'm always ready to eat. Night had fallen by the time they made their way to Ichiraku Ramen. The small stand was lit by warm lanterns, and the smell of broth and noodles filled the air. Old Man Tucci. Naruto called out as they ducked under the banners. This is my new friend Goku. He's got an appetite that might even rival mine. Tucci laughed. A challenge, is it? Welcome, young man. Any friend of Naruto's is welcome here. Thanks. Goku said, taking a seat at the counter. I'll have one of everything. Tucci's eyes widened, but he took the order in stride. Coming right up. As they waited for their food, a commotion outside caught their attention. Shouting voices and running footsteps approached the stand. Naruto. Shikamaru Nara pushed aside the banner, his expression urgent. There's an attack at the west gate. Some kind of creatures no one's seen before. Lady Tsunade is calling all available ninja. Creatures. Naruto was immediately on his feet. What kind of creatures? Like nothing I've ever seen, Shikamaru replied grimly. They're absorbing chakra somehow, direct jutsu attacks just make them stronger. Goku stood as well, his expression suddenly serious. I should check this out. It might be connected to how I got here. They rushed toward the west gate, joining other ninja converging on the scene. When they arrived, chaos reigned. Strange, translucent beings with elongated limbs and pulsing cores were phasing through Konoha's defenses. When ninja attacked them with jutsu, the energy seemed to be sucked into their bodies, making them grow larger. Physical attacks only. Tsunade was shouting to the defenders. No chakra-based jutsu. Goku assessed the situation quickly. Those aren't normal creatures. Their energy signature is similar to the vortex that brought me here. Can you stop them? Naruto asked, punching one of the smaller beings that had lunged at them. His fist connected, and the creature recoiled, shrinking slightly. Yeah, I think so. Goku's expression turned focused. Stay back for a second. He stepped forward, facing the largest of the creatures, a towering, semi-transparent being with a pulsing purple core. Goku's hands moved to his side, and blue energy began to form between them. Ka, mi, ha, mi. The creature sensed the building energy and turned toward Goku, tendrils extending hungrily. Ha! The Kamehameha wave shot forward, but instead of being absorbed, it seemed to disrupt the creature's very structure. The beam passed through its body, causing it to distort and collapse in on itself with a high-pitched wailing sound. It worked! Naruto shouted. Goku's energy hurts them instead of feeding them. It's because my ki is different from your chakra, Goku explained, already moving toward another creature. They're adapted to absorb chakra, but ki disrupts their structure. Everyone fall back. Tsunade commanded. Let Son Goku handle this. The Konoha forces retreated to a defensive perimeter while Goku engaged the creatures. He moved with incredible speed, striking each one with precise ki-enhanced blows. Where chakra had fed them, his ki seemed toxic to their existence, causing them to shrink and eventually dissipate. Within minutes, the attack had been repelled, the last of the strange beings evaporating into mist under Goku's assault. The Konoha ninja stared in amazement at their unlikely savior. That was incredible, Shikamaru admitted, his tactical mind already analyzing what he'd witnessed. You took them out without breaking a sweat. Goku approached the spot where the largest creature had fallen, crouching to examine a small, crystalline object left behind. This is interesting. It's like a condensed form of dimensional energy. Tsunade joined him, looking at the crystal with concern. You think this is connected to your arrival? Has to be, Goku confirmed. The energy signature is identical to the vortex that brought me here. A slow clap echoed from the shadows beyond the gate. A figure stepped into the light, a man with long, dark hair and unusual eyes that seemed to shift between colors. He wore a modified ninja outfit with strange, glowing symbols etched into the fabric. Bravo, the man said, continuing to clap sardonically. You handled my dimensional feeders with impressive efficiency. The Konoha ninja immediately took defensive positions. Who are you? Tsunade demanded. Kaido Momochi, the man introduced himself with a slight bow. Former shinobi of the Hidden Mist, current student of dimensional energy. And you, he turned to Goku, are the most interesting anomaly I've detected in years. Goku stepped forward, placing himself between Kaido and the others. You're responsible for those creatures. And for bringing me here. The creatures, yes, Kaido admitted easily. They're my creation, designed to harvest chakra and convert it to dimensional energy. As for your arrival. He shrugged. A happy accident. My experiments must have created a temporary rift between dimensions, and you happen to be in the right place at the wrong time. Or perhaps the wrong place at the right time, depending on your perspective. Send me back, Goku demanded, his usual cheerful demeanor replaced by seriousness. I'm afraid I can't do that, Kaido replied, seemingly unintimidated. At least, not yet. You see, you're giving off energy readings unlike anything I've ever recorded. You're not from this dimension, obviously, but you're not merely from another world within our universe. You're from somewhere much further away in the dimensional spectrum. What do you want? Naruto demanded, stepping up beside Goku. Kaido's shifting eyes focused on Naruto with interest. Ah, the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Another fascinating source of energy. His gaze returned to Goku. What I want is knowledge. Power. The ability to transcend the limitations of this reality. And your arrival has opened up possibilities I hadn't considered before. If you're responsible for those creatures attacking innocent people, then we've got a problem, Goku said, his voice calm but carrying an unmistakable edge. Consider it a test, Kaido responded with a dismissive wave. I needed to see how this village would respond to interdimensional entities. Now I know. He looked Goku up and down appraisingly. And I know something much more valuable has fallen into my lap. Without warning, Kaido flashed through a series of hand signs. Dimensional style, resonance pulse. A wave of distorted space rippled outward from his hands, passing through everyone present. When it reached Goku, however, it caused him to grimace in pain, a visible aura of his ki briefly flickering around him in response. Just as I thought, Kaido said with satisfaction. Your energy responds to dimensional manipulation. Interesting. Goku steadied himself, looking slightly disoriented. What did you just do? I simply took a reading, Kaido explained. Non-invasive, mostly. He stepped backward, the shadows seeming to deepen around him. We'll meet again, Son Goku from another dimension. There's much I can learn from you, willing or otherwise. Wait. Naruto shouted, but Kaido formed another sign and vanished in a swirl of distorted space. Tsunade immediately began organizing search parties, but Goku shook his head. He's gone. I can't sense his energy anywhere nearby. Are you alright? Naruto asked, noticing Goku still seemed slightly unsteady. Yeah, just a weird feeling when he used that technique. Like something was tugging on my ki, trying to pull it out of alignment. Goku rolled his shoulders. It's passing now. Kaido Momochi, Kakashi mused, having arrived during the confrontation. I've heard rumors. He was exiled from the hidden mist for forbidden experimentation with spacetime ninjutsu. There were stories he discovered ancient scrolls describing other dimensions. Well, he's definitely figured something out, Goku said. Those creatures weren't natural to this world or mine. And now he's interested in you, Tsunade observed grimly. This complicates things. Goku nodded, his expression unusually serious. If he's the one who accidentally brought me here, he might be my best chance of getting home. But I don't like his methods. We'll need to be on high alert, Tsunade decided. Kakashi, I want you to gather any information we have on Kaido Momochi and his research. Naruto, stay with Goku at all times. If Kaido tries to make contact again, we need to know immediately. You got it, Grandma Tsunade. Naruto agreed. As they made their way back into the village, the adrenaline of the encounter began to fade, and Goku's stomach rumbled loudly. Man, all that fighting made me hungry again. We never did get to eat that ramen. Naruto laughed, the tension breaking. Ichiraku's probably still open. Let's head back, you deserve a feast after saving the village like that. Despite the late hour, Tucci welcomed them back with open arms, especially after hearing about Goku's role in repelling the attack. Bowl after bowl of ramen was placed before them as Naruto recounted the battle with increasing embellishment. And then Goku was like whoosh, and those weird creatures were like AAAH, and his energy beam went right through them like boom. Goku laughed between mouthfuls. You're making me sound cooler than I am. Are you kidding? You took out all those things without even trying. I bet you could teach me that Kamehameha technique if we really worked at it. Maybe, Goku said thoughtfully. Your chakra might be adaptable enough, especially with that Ninetales energy you've got. It feels different from regular chakra, wilder, more primal. Might be closer to ki than you think. Naruto's eyes widened. You really think I could learn it? Worth a try. Though we should probably wait until tomorrow. It's getting late, and ki training is best with a clear mind. By the time they finished eating, Goku having consumed what Tucci declared a week's worth of ingredients, the village had settled back into an uneasy calm. Extra patrols circled the perimeter, alert for any sign of more dimensional creatures or their mysterious creator. Back at Naruto's apartment, they prepared for sleep, Naruto insisting that Goku take the bed while he made do with a sleeping mat on the floor. Thanks for saving the village today, Naruto said as they settled in. Those things were absorbing all our jutsu. If you hadn't been here. Don't mention it, Goku replied with a yawn. It's what I do. Seems like wherever I end up, there's always something that needs fighting. Do you miss your home? Naruto asked after a moment of silence. Yeah, Goku admitted. Got a wife and 2 sons there. And friends I've known most of my life. But I've been to lots of different places and worlds before. You learn to adapt. We'll help you get back, Naruto promised. Believe it. Thanks, Naruto. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to learning more about this world. The way you ninjas fight is fascinating, all strategy and technique. Where I come from, battles often come down to who has the most raw power. That's boring, Naruto declared. The best fights are when you outsmart your opponent or show them your ninja way. Your ninja way, huh? Goku smiled in the darkness. I like that. Reminds me of something my first teacher used to say, martial arts isn't just about fighting, it's about building character. They fell into comfortable silence, until Naruto spoke again, his voice quieter. Hey Goku. That Kaido guy, he seemed really interested in your power. And mine too, because of the 9 tails. Do you think he's going to come after us? Goku was silent for a moment before answering. Probably. Guys like that usually do. But don't worry, I've dealt with power-hungry villains before. They never learn. We'll beat him together, Naruto said confidently. Together, Goku agreed. Miles away, in a laboratory hidden beneath an abandoned temple, Kaido Momochi studied the readings he had collected. Screens displaying complex energy patterns surrounded him, and at the center of the room, a large, crystalline structure pulsed with an eerie purple light. Extraordinary, he murmured, examining the data from his resonance pulse. His energy signature is completely unlike chakra, purer, more direct. No hand signs, no complex molding. Just raw power shaped by will alone. A shadowy figure approached from behind. Was it wise to reveal yourself so soon? It was necessary, Kaido replied without turning. I needed baseline readings of his energy in its natural state. Now I can begin calibrating the dimensional nexus to his frequency. He gestured to the pulsing crystal. With his power as a catalyst, we can finally stabilize the gateway. Imagine it, access to unlimited dimensions, each with their own unique energies to harvest. And the 9 tails Jinchuriki? A bonus, Kaido said with a thin smile. The tailed beasts have always been anomalies in our world, concentrations of chakra that defy normal laws. Adding that energy to our collection would accelerate our timeline significantly. The village will protect them both. Let them try. Kaido turned, his shifting eyes glowing in the dim light. We don't need to capture the scion physically, just his energy signature. And now that I've made contact, I can track him anywhere. He approached the crystal, placing his hand on its surface. The pulse rate increased, and images began to form within, swirling galaxies, strange landscapes, and finally, a scene of Goku and Naruto sleeping in the apartment. Rest while you can, Kaido whispered. Tomorrow, we begin the real experiment. Dawn broke over Konoha, sunlight streaming through the window of Naruto's apartment. Goku was already awake, sitting cross-legged in the center of the room, a faint aura of energy surrounding him as he meditated. Naruto yawned and sat up, rubbing his eyes. You're up early. I always train at sunrise, Goku explained, opening his eyes. Help center my ki for the day. Want to join me? Sure. Naruto moved to sit across from him, mimicking Goku's posture. Close your eyes and focus on your breathing first, Goku instructed. Feel the energy flowing through your body. For you, it'll be chakra rather than ki, but the principle is similar. Naruto closed his eyes, his face scrunching in concentration. Relax your face, Goku said with a chuckle. You look like you're trying to solve a math problem. Sorry, Naruto muttered, trying to smooth his features. It's just, I've never been good at the chakra control stuff. Sakura's way better at it. That's because you're trying to force it. Your chakra is powerful but wild, like trying to direct a river with your hands. Instead, try to feel the current and move with it. Naruto took a deep breath and tried again, focusing on the sensation of his chakra rather than trying to control it. After a few minutes, he felt a subtle shift, a warmth spreading through his body that was different from his usual chakra feeling. I feel something different, he said hesitantly. Good. Goku sounded pleased. That might be the boundary between your chakra and what could become ki. Keep focusing on that feeling. They continued the meditation for another 20 minutes before Naruto's stomach growled loudly, breaking his concentration. Guess that's enough for today, Goku laughed, getting to his feet. Can't train on an empty stomach. After a quick breakfast, quick by normal standards, extensive by anyone else's, they headed to Training Ground 3 where Kakashi had asked them to meet. When they arrived, they found not just Team 7 waiting, but a collection of other ninja as well, including Guy and Lee, Niji Hyuga, and several jonin. Word travels fast, Kakashi commented as they approached. Everyone's curious about our interdimensional visitor and his fighting style. The more the merrier. Goku said cheerfully. I love training with new people. Goku. Lee bounded forward, eyes burning with enthusiasm. Guy-sensei says your taijutsu is extraordinary. Would you honor me with a sparring match? Sure thing. Goku agreed immediately. I like your energy. Lee took his fighting stance, while Goku simply stood relaxed, hands at his sides, the same casual posture he'd adopted against Guy. Begin whenever you're ready, Kakashi called. Lee disappeared in a blur of speed that impressed even the jonin present. He reappeared behind Goku, launching a powerful kick that would have shattered stone. Goku caught the kick with one hand, just as he had with Guy, but this time he looked genuinely impressed. Wow! You're even faster than your teacher. That's awesome. Lee's eyes widened in surprise, but he recovered quickly, using Goku's grip on his leg as leverage to spin and attempt another strike. Goku released him just before the attack connected, allowing Lee to complete his rotation before dodging the follow-up punches with minimal movement. Amazing! Niji commented from the sidelines, his Byakugan active. His movements are so efficient, there's no wasted energy at all. And he's not even using chakra, Sasuke added, his Sharingan tracking the exchange. That's pure physical ability. Lee continued his assault, each attack growing faster as he pushed himself harder. Goku matched him move for move, offering pointers between dodges. Try extending your kick a little further, yeah, like that. Good balance. After a few minutes, Lee was breathing hard, while Goku hadn't even broken a sweat. The young ninja finally stepped back, bowing respectfully. Thank you for the match, Goku-san. Your youthful spirit is truly inspiring. You're really good, Goku said sincerely. With some refinements to your technique, you could be even stronger. Your physical training is excellent. Lee beamed at the praise, returning to Guy's side with renewed determination to train even harder. Who's next? Goku asked, looking around the gathered ninja. I am, Sasuke stepped forward, his Sharingan already activated. But I want to fight you at a higher level of power. Show me what a Super Saiyan can do. Murmurs ran through the crowd, many hadn't witnessed Goku's transformation the day before. Are you sure? Goku asked, suddenly serious. It's a big jump in power. I need to see it, Sasuke insisted. To understand what I'm facing. Goku glanced at Kakashi, who nodded his permission. Alright then. Stand back, everyone. The gathered ninja moved to create a larger perimeter as Goku took his stance. Like before, the air began to shimmer around him, small objects lifting from the ground as his power built. Hiya! The golden aura erupted around him, the force of the transformation creating a shockwave that rustled the trees and kicked up dust. When it cleared, Goku stood in his Super Saiyan form, golden hair spiked upward, teal eyes fixed on Sasuke. This is Super Saiyan, Goku said, his voice carrying that slight echo effect. Ready when you are. Sasuke's expression was intense as he studied Goku with his Sharingan. Without warning, he flashed through hand signs. Fire style, fireball jutsu. A massive ball of flame roared toward Goku, who simply raised one hand. The fireball split around him, dissipating without leaving a mark. Not bad, Goku commented. Good heat intensity. Sasuke didn't waste time being surprised. He charged forward, drawing his sword and channeling lightning chakra through the blade. His speed was impressive even by Jonin standards, but to the transformed Goku, he might as well have been moving in slow motion. Goku caught the lightning-enhanced blade between two fingers, the electricity crackling but causing no visible harm. The lightning element is interesting, he observed casually. It reminds me of my friend Vegeta's attacks. Sasuke jumped back, reassessing. His Sharingan was recording everything, but there was a problem. Goku's movements were so fast that even his enhanced perception struggled to track them. You're trying to copy my movements with those eyes, right? Goku asked. I'm curious if it works with key techniques. Let's find out, Sasuke replied coolly. Goku nodded and took a simple stance, cupping his hands at his side. I'll do this slowly so you can see. Ka, mi, ha, mi. The blue energy formed between his palms, building gradually to give Sasuke time to observe the process. Ha! The beam shot forward, but Goku directed it upward at the last moment, sending it harmlessly into the sky. Sasuke had watched the entire sequence, his Sharingan recording every detail. Without hesitation, Sasuke mimicked the stance, cupping his hands at his side. Ka, mi, ha, mi. To everyone's shock, a small flicker of energy, not quite chakra, not quite ki, began to form between Sasuke's palms. Ha! A thin beam of energy, barely a fraction of Goku's power but unmistakably similar, shot from Sasuke's hands before dissipating a few feet away. The effort left him visibly drained, dropping to one knee. Incredible, Kakashi murmured. He actually replicated it partially. Goku powered down, his hair returning to normal as he approached Sasuke with genuine excitement. That was amazing. You actually converted some of your chakra into ki. I didn't think that was possible. Sasuke looked at his hands, clearly surprised despite himself. It felt different. Purer somehow. But it drained me much faster than a normal jutsu would. That's because you're not used to channeling ki, Goku explained. Your chakra pathways are trying to adapt to a different kind of energy flow. With practice, you could probably develop a hybrid technique. Niji stepped forward, his Byakugan still active. His chakra network shows unusual activity. The pathways nearest his hands have expanded slightly, as if they've been altered by the foreign energy. This observation led to an excited discussion among the gathered ninja about the potential applications of ki techniques in their world. Tsunade, who had arrived during Sasuke's match, approached with keen interest. This could change our understanding of chakra fundamentally, she said, her medical expertise engaged. If chakra can be partially converted to this ki energy, it might open new avenues for jutsu development. It might be easier for some than others, Goku suggested. Naruto, for instance, his chakra already feels a bit different, more adaptable. That's probably because of the 9 tails, Kakashi theorized. Tailed beast chakra has always behaved somewhat differently from standard human chakra. Goku's been teaching me some basics, Naruto announced proudly. I'm gonna master this ki stuff in no time. Believe it. The training session continued throughout the morning, with various ninja attempting to spar with Goku or learn the basics of ki manipulation. While no one else managed what Sasuke had achieved, several, including Naruto, reported feeling something different when following Goku's meditation techniques. Around midday, as they were taking a break, a disturbance rippled through the air. The sky above them seemed to waver, like heat rising from hot pavement, before a small tear appeared, similar to but smaller than the one that had brought Goku to their world. What the, Naruto began, but was cut off as several of the crystalline entities from the previous night dropped through the opening. This time, however, they looked different, more solid, with defined features that resembled twisted, crystalline versions of human faces. They've evolved, Kakashi observed, pulling up his headband to reveal his Sharingan. Be careful, everyone. No chakra attacks. I've got this, Goku said, stepping forward. Before he could engage, however, the largest of the creatures emitted a pulse of energy that specifically targeted him. Goku stumbled, his ki aura flickering visibly as he grimaced in pain. Goku! Naruto rushed to his side. What's happening? They're disrupting my ki somehow, Goku managed through gritted teeth. It's like they've been specifically designed to counter my energy signature. The ninja present immediately moved to defend them, engaging the creatures with taijutsu only, following Kakashi's warning. But the evolved entities were faster and stronger than before, easily evading physical attacks. We need a new strategy, Tsunade called out. Sasuke, try that hybrid technique again. Sasuke nodded, summoning his remaining strength to cup his hands at his side. Ka, mi, ha, mi. Ha. The thin beam that erupted from his hands was weaker than before but struck one of the smaller creatures directly. To everyone's surprise, the hybrid energy seemed effective, causing the creature to distort and collapse in on itself. It works! Naruto shouted. The mixed energy hurts them. But I can't maintain it, Sasuke admitted, already looking drained. One shot is my limit right now. Goku pushed himself to his feet, fighting through the disruption field. Naruto, remember what we practiced this morning? Try focusing your chakra the way I showed you. Naruto nodded, forming his familiar cross-shaped hand sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Dozens of clones appeared, surrounding the creatures. Instead of attacking immediately, however, they all sat down in a meditative posture, focusing their chakra the way Goku had taught him. What's he doing? Sakura asked, confused. Clever, Kakashi realized. He's using the shadow clones to accelerate the learning process. Whatever one clone learns, all of them, including the original Naruto, will know when they disperse. After a tense minute during which the other ninja continued to hold off the creatures with physical attacks, the Naruto clones all opened their eyes simultaneously. Each clone held out a hand, and small, unstable flickers of energy, not quite chakra, not quite ki, appeared above their palms. Now, the original Naruto commanded. All the clones charged forward at once, pressing their unstable energy orbs against the creatures. The hybrid energy reacted violently with the entity's composition, causing them to shriek and distort. One by one, they collapsed into crystalline dust that scattered on the wind. As the last creature fell, the Naruto clones disappeared in puffs of smoke, the accumulated fatigue hitting the original Naruto all at once. He dropped to his knees, exhausted but grinning triumphantly. Did you see that? I did it. Goku, who had recovered once the disruption field disappeared with the creatures, helped Naruto to his feet with a proud smile. That was brilliant. Using clones to accelerate the learning process, I wish I'd thought of that when I was training. They were targeting you specifically, Tsunade observed, approaching the crystalline remains with caution. Kaido has clearly been studying your energy signature. And adapting his creations to counter it, Kakashi added grimly. This is escalating quickly. Goku nodded, his expression serious. He's obviously using the energy he collected from me yesterday to create these things. And they're evolving. But hybrid energy works against them, Naruto pointed out, still breathing heavily from the exertion. They couldn't handle it when it wasn't pure chakra or pure ki. That gives us an advantage, Tsunade decided. Goku, I'd like you to work with our most adaptable ninja to develop this hybrid technique further. Naruto and Sasuke have already shown aptitude for it. I can do that, Goku agreed. But we should also prepare for Kaido to adapt again. Someone that clever won't make the same mistake twice. As they collected samples of the crystalline dust for analysis, a subtle ripple passed through the air again, but instead of another tear, a projection appeared. Kaido's face, enlarged and slightly translucent, hovered above the training ground. Fascinating display, his voice echoed around them. The hybrid energy was unexpected. Your ninja are more adaptable than I anticipated. What do you want, Kaido? Tsunade demanded. Progress, Lady Hokage. Evolution. Transcendence. His shifting eyes fixed on Goku. Our visitor from another dimension is the key to all of it. His energy signature is unlike anything in our world, purer, more direct, unfiltered by chakra pathways. If you know so much about dimensions, Goku called out, then you know how to send me back to mine. Of course, Kaido's projection smiled thinly. But why would I do that when you're so much more valuable here? The data I'm collecting from our interactions is advancing my research by years. Your research is putting innocent people in danger, Naruto shot back. A necessary sacrifice for progress. Kaido's gaze shifted to Naruto. And you, Jinchuriki, are proving to be an interesting variable as well. Your ability to adapt to the science techniques so quickly. The Nine-Tails chakra must be more flexible than I thought. Kakashi stepped forward. Whatever you're planning, Kaido, it won't succeed. Konoha stands united against threats like you. Noble sentiment, copy ninja. But ultimately irrelevant. The projection began to fade. Consider today a data-gathering exercise. Next time, we'll proceed to Phase 2. What's Phase 2? Naruto demanded, but the projection had already vanished. A tense silence fell over the training ground. Finally, Tsunade spoke. We need to prepare. If Kaido's creatures are evolving to specifically target Goku, we need to develop countermeasures that don't rely solely on his power. The hybrid energy technique shows promise, Kakashi said. With refinement, it could be effective. I'll keep working with whoever wants to learn, Goku offered. Though from what we've seen, it seems like those with larger chakra reserves or special visual abilities pick it up faster. Then we'll focus our training there, Tsunade decided. Naruto, Sasuke, you'll work directly with Goku. Kakashi, oversee their progress and see if you can replicate any of it with your Sharingan. I want a report by sunset. As the gathering dispersed, Naruto, Sasuke, and Goku remained at the training ground with Kakashi. The tension between Naruto and Sasuke, normally palpable, seemed temporarily set aside in the face of this new challenge. So, Naruto asked, his energy already returning, what's next, Goku? More meditation. Or can we skip to the fun stuff like that Kamehameha? We need to understand the fundamentals first, Goku explained, sitting cross-legged on the ground and gesturing for them to join him. Ki isn't just about power, it's about control. The reason I can do techniques like the Kamehameha is because I've trained my body to channel energy precisely. Like chakra control exercises, Kakashi observed. Similar, but different in key ways, Goku agreed. From what I can tell, chakra flows through specific pathways in your body, like rivers with banks. Ki flows through the entire body more freely, like an ocean. The challenge is learning to direct it without those defined pathways. Sasuke activated his Sharingan. Show us. Goku held out his hand, forming a small ball of ki. This is pure ki energy. Watch how it moves and flows. The ball expanded, contracted, split into smaller orbs, then reformed, all without hand signs or verbal commands, controlled solely by Goku's will. Now, try to feel your chakra, Goku instructed. Not just the pathways, but the energy itself. Imagine it filling your entire body, not just flowing through channels. For the next hour, they practiced this fundamental shift in perception. Sasuke, with his Sharingan's ability to visualize chakra flow, made the fastest progress. Naruto struggled more with the fine control aspects but compensated with his massive reserves and determined spirit. You're both doing great, Goku encouraged. Sasuke, your precision is excellent. Naruto, your raw power is impressive, reminds me of myself when I was younger. Can I try the Kamehameha again? Sasuke asked, his competitive nature showing. Let's try something simpler first, Goku suggested. A basic ki blast. He held out his palm and fired a small bolt of energy that struck a nearby tree, leaving a scorch mark. It's less draining than the Kamehameha but follows the same principles. Sasuke nodded and extended his hand, focusing intently. After a moment, a small, flickering energy sphere formed above his palm, not quite chakra, not quite ki, but something in between. With visible effort, he projected it forward, striking the ground a few feet away. Excellent! Goku exclaimed. You're creating a hybrid energy that's closer to ki than chakra. That's exactly what we need against Kaido's creatures. Not to be outdone, Naruto focused with all his might, his face scrunched in concentration. A larger but less stable energy ball formed in his hand, pulsing with hints of the Nine-Tails red chakra mixed with what appeared to be emerging ki. Steady, Goku coached. Don't force it, direct it. Naruto took a deep breath and released the energy. It shot forward with considerably more power than Sasuke's, blasting a small crater in the ground. Whoa! Naruto stared at his hand in amazement. Did you see that? That wasn't chakra. Not entirely, Goku agreed. It's a hybrid, like Sasuke's, but with a different composition. The Nine-Tails energy seems to adapt to ki principles more readily. Kakashi, who had been observing carefully, attempted the technique himself. Though his Sharingan allowed him to copy the form perfectly, the energy he produced was weaker, closer to pure chakra than the hybrids Naruto and Sasuke had created. Interesting, he mused. I can copy the technique, but not the energy transformation itself. It seems to require something beyond what the Sharingan can mimic. It's because you're trying to replicate the external form without changing how you perceive your own energy, Goku explained. This isn't just about hand positions or focusing techniques, it's about fundamentally shifting how you interact with the energy inside you. As the training continued, Naruto and Sasuke gradually developed more control over their hybrid techniques. By late afternoon, both could consistently produce energy blasts that showed characteristics of both chakra and ki, though the effort left them increasingly fatigued. That's enough for today, Goku decided, noting their exhaustion. You've both made incredible progress. This kind of training usually takes weeks or months. Will it be enough against Kaido? Naruto asked, wiping sweat from his brow. It's a start, Goku said honestly. But he's clearly building towards something bigger. Those creatures today were just tests, probes to gather data on our capabilities. And now he knows about the hybrid energy, Sasuke pointed out. He'll adapt his strategy. Then we'll just have to keep getting stronger, Naruto declared with his characteristic determination. Between your ki, our chakra, and this new hybrid stuff, we'll be ready for whatever he throws at us. As they headed back toward the village, Kakashi fell into step beside Goku. You're an excellent teacher. Your methods are unorthodox by our standards, but effective. Thanks, Goku replied with a grin. I've had some great teachers myself over the years. Master Roshi, King Kai, Whis, they all had different approaches, but they taught me that power isn't just about strength. It's about understanding yourself and your own energy. A philosophy our ninja would do well to remember, Kakashi agreed. Especially Naruto. He's always relied on raw power and determination. Your approach might help him develop the control he's lacked. As they reached the village proper, a messenger approached with urgent news. Tsunade had called an emergency meeting of Jonin and Special Forces. Analysis of the crystalline remains had revealed disturbing information. You three go ahead, Kakashi told them. I'll represent us at the meeting and brief you afterward. Goku, Naruto, and Sasuke headed to Ichiraka Ramen, Goku's new favorite place in Konoha, and Naruto's lifelong preferred restaurant. Though Sasuke normally avoided such casual dining, the day's event seemed to have created a temporary truce between the rivals. 3 large miso ramen. Naruto called out as they entered. Make mine 5 bowls. Goku added cheerfully. Tucci laughed. Coming right up. You two are going to put my daughter through medical school at this rate. As they waited for their food, Naruto turned to Goku with a thoughtful expression. Hey, Goku. What's your world like? You mentioned having a family there. Yeah, Goku's expression softened. My wife Chi-Chi, and my sons Gohan and Goten. And friends I've known most of my life, Bulma, Krillin, Master Roshi. We've been through a lot together. They must be worried about you, Sasuke observed quietly. Goku nodded. Probably. Though they've gotten used to me disappearing for training sometimes. And Bulma's smart enough that she might be trying to figure out what happened from their end. We'll help you get back, Naruto promised again. But first, we gotta deal with this Kaido guy. Agreed, Goku said, his expression turning more serious. I don't like the feeling I get from him. He reminds me of some scientists I've encountered before, so focused on discovery that they don't care who gets hurt in the process. Their food arrived, and conversation paused as they began eating, though devouring might have been a more accurate term for Goku and Naruto's approach to the meal. So, Naruto asked between slurps, in your world, are there people as strong as you? Some, Goku confirmed. Vegeta's about equal with me most of the time. Beerus, the god of destruction I mentioned, is still stronger than me at my best. And there are fighters from other universes who gave me a real challenge in the Tournament of Power. Other universes, Sasuke repeated, his interest clearly piqued despite his attempt to appear indifferent. How many are there? 12 in total, though some were erased and later restored. Each has its own god of destruction, Supreme Kai, they're like the creation gods, an angel attendant. And you've fought gods. Naruto's eyes were wide. Fought them, trained with them, even became friends with some, Goku said casually. Once you reach a certain level of power, the lines between mortal and divine get pretty blurry. Is that what Kaido is after? Sasuke wondered. Godhood? Could be, Goku agreed. It wouldn't be the first time I've seen someone try to use dimensional energy to ascend beyond mortal limits. Never ends well for them, though. The conversation might have continued in this philosophical direction, but it was interrupted by a massive explosion from the direction of the Hokage Tower. The 3 warriors were on their feet instantly, rushing toward the source of the disturbance. They arrived to find the tower intact but surrounded by more of the crystalline creatures, dozens of them, larger and more defined than before. In the center of the square, Kaido himself stood within a protective barrier of swirling energy, conducting the attack like a maestro. Right on schedule, he called out as Goku, Naruto, and Sasuke arrived. I was hoping you'd join us, Saiyan. Konoha ninja were already engaging the creatures, using the physical combat tactics that had proven effective earlier. But there were too many, and these new versions moved with greater speed and purpose. What do you want, Kaido? Goku demanded, stepping forward. A more comprehensive energy sample, Kaido replied calmly. Our earlier interactions provided baseline data, but I need to see your power at higher levels. These dimensional harvesters are designed to provoke exactly that. As if on cue, several of the creatures broke from the main group and lunged directly at Naruto and Sasuke. Before Goku could intervene, a crystalline spike extended from one, piercing Naruto's shoulder. Naruto! Goku and Sasuke both moved to defend him, but more creatures intercepted them, their bodies somehow predicting and countering their movements. Naruto grimaced in pain as the creature began to glow, clearly drawing energy from him. Something's wrong, it's pulling at the Ninetales chakra specifically. Excellent observation, Kaido called out. These harvesters are calibrated to extract and analyze specific energy signatures. Yours is particularly interesting, Jinchuriki, a human with a tailed beast's chakra. Goku's expression hardened. That's enough. He took his stance, golden aura flaring around him as he transformed into a Super Saiyan without the usual build-up. The transformation was instant, his power spiking dramatically. The harvesters immediately shifted their attention to him, drawn to the massive energy output. With blinding speed, Goku began destroying them one after another, his ki-enhanced strikes shattering their crystalline bodies. Kaido watched with obvious satisfaction, instruments within his barrier recording everything. Yes. Show me more, Saiyan. I need to see the full spectrum of your power. Realizing he was playing into Kaido's hands but seeing no alternative with Naruto injured, Goku continued his assault. Every harvester he destroyed, however, seemed to feed data back to Kaido's instruments before disintegrating. Sasuke, meanwhile, had reached Naruto's side, using his sword to sever the spike connecting him to the creature. "Can you fight?" he asked tersely, keeping his eyes on the battle. "Yeah," Naruto grunted, pressing a hand to his bleeding shoulder. "But that thing took a chunk of the Ninetales chakra. I can feel it." "Then we use the hybrid technique," Sasuke decided. "It worked before." Naruto nodded, and both ninjas began focusing their energy the way Goku had taught them. Despite his injury, Naruto's determination allowed him to form the unstable hybrid energy ball in his palm. Sasuke did the same, his Sharingan active to perfect the control. Now, they shouted in unison, releasing their attacks into the mass of creatures surrounding Goku. The hybrid energy cut through the harvesters more effectively than even Goku's pure ki, causing them to distort and collapse instantly upon contact. Seeing this, other ninja who had observed the earlier training began attempting similar techniques, with varying degrees of success, but even partially formed hybrid energy seemed to disrupt the creatures. Kaido's satisfied expression faltered slightly as he observed this development. Adapting faster than anticipated, he muttered, adjusting controls within his barrier. The remaining harvesters suddenly pulled back, regrouping around Kaido's barrier. Their crystalline bodies began to resonate, emitting a high-pitched tone that made everyone wince. "Cover your ears!" Kakashi shouted, having arrived at the battle. Too late, the resonance peaked, and a wave of disruptive energy washed over the square. Ninja dropped to their knees, their chakra networks temporarily scrambled. Even Goku grimaced, his Super Saiyan aura flickering as the wave interfered with his ki circulation. "Phase 2 complete," Kaido announced, checking his instruments. Energy patterns recorded and analyzed. Before anyone could recover enough to stop him, he made a complex hand sign. The barrier around him expanded rapidly, engulfing the remaining harvesters. In a flash of light, they all vanished, leaving the square empty except for the defending ninja. Goku powered down, looking troubled. He got what he wanted. Which was? Tsunade asked, approaching from the direction of the tower, her medical ninja already moving to treat the injured. "Data on how our energies work, especially when combined or at higher outputs." Goku shook his head. "He's building towards something big. Those creatures weren't just attacks, they were sensors, collecting information on ki, chakra, and our hybrid techniques. At least we know the hybrid energy works against them," Naruto pointed out as a medical ninja treated his shoulder. "For now," Sasuke said grimly. "But he's seen it in action twice now. He'll adapt." Tsunade turned to Kakashi. "What did the analysis of the crystalline remains show?" "Troubling results," Kakashi replied. "The crystals appear to be condensed dimensional energy, similar to what was detected when Goku first arrived, but processed and refined. They can store and transmit energy signatures across space, possibly even between dimensions. Like a bridge between worlds," Goku realized. "He's using the energy he collects to try to stabilize connections between dimensions." "But why?" Naruto asked. "What's the point?" "Power," Sasuke answered simply. "If he can control access to other dimensions, he could potentially harvest energy from all of them. Which would make him virtually unstoppable," Tsunade concluded. "We need to find his base of operations and shut this down before he advances further." "I might be able to help with that," Goku offered. Next time he creates a dimensional disturbance, I could try to trace it back to its source. It's similar to a technique I know called instant transmission, following energy signatures to their origin point. That would be invaluable, Tsunade agreed. In the meantime, we'll continue developing countermeasures based on the hybrid energy technique. Kakashi, expand the training to include any Jonin who show aptitude for the conversion. As the meeting concluded and the cleanup began, Goku, Naruto, and Sasuke stood together, watching the sunset over Konoha. He's going to come back stronger, Sasuke said quietly. Yeah, Goku agreed. But so will we. Naruto grinned despite his bandaged shoulder. And this time, we'll be ready for him. Believe it. Chapter 2, Adapting to a New Reality. Dawn broke over Konoha, golden light spilling across the village and through the window of Naruto's apartment. Goku sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed, a faint aura of energy pulsing around him like a gentle heartbeat. Naruto watched from his bed, fascinated. Even after everything he'd seen yesterday, the casual way Goku handled energy still amazed him. No hand signs. No visible strain. Just pure control. How long have you been up? Naruto asked, his voice still rough with sleep. Goku opened his eyes, the energy aura dissipating. Couple hours. I always train at sunrise, habit from when I was a kid. He stretched his arms overhead. Your shoulder doing better? Naruto rolled his injured shoulder experimentally. The medical ninja had done good work, and his own accelerated healing had taken care of the rest. Good as new. Takes more than some crystal freak to keep me down. Great. Because today we're really getting started. Goku jumped to his feet with an enthusiasm that seemed impossible for so early in the morning. Kakashi stopped by while you were sleeping. Tsunade wants us at Training Ground 17 in an hour. Apparently, she's gathered some special Jonin who might have the right aptitude for learning key techniques. Seriously? That's awesome. Naruto sprang out of bed, suddenly wide awake. Wait till they see what I can already do. I've been practicing that energy ball thing in my head all night. Goku laughed. That's not how it works, but I like the enthusiasm. After a quick breakfast, 3 cups of instant ramen for Naruto, 12 for Goku, they headed out into the village. The streets were already busy, and everywhere they went, people stopped to stare at Goku. Word of yesterday's battles had spread throughout Konoha, and children ran alongside them, pointing and whispering about the gold-haired warrior from the sky. You're famous, Naruto observed with a grin. Yeah, seems that way. Used to bother me when I was younger, but I've gotten used to it. At least nobody's trying to take pictures like they do back home. Goku waved cheerfully at a group of academy students who were practicing shuriken throws in a small courtyard. Goku-san. Goku-san, one boy called out. Can you really fly without using chakra? Sure can. Without breaking stride, Goku rose a few feet off the ground, hovering casually as they walked. The children gasped and cheered. That's so cool. Naruto exclaimed. You gotta teach me that next. One step at a time, Goku advised, lowering back to the ground. Flying requires really solid ki control. Let's master the basics first. As they approached Training Ground 17, a large, open field bordered by dense forest, they could see a substantial gathering had already formed. Tsunade stood at the center, flanked by Kakashi, Guy, and several ANBU captains. Around them in a loose circle were perhaps 30 Jonin and special Jonin, including many familiar faces, Asuma, Kurenai, Yamato, Enko, and others. Looks like the Hokage called in everyone, Naruto murmured, suddenly feeling the weight of the situation. This wasn't just training, this was military preparation. Tsunade spotted their arrival and gestured them forward. Good, you're here. We can begin. Her voice carried across the field without effort. Yesterday, we faced an enemy with capabilities beyond our traditional understanding. Thanks to Son Goku, we now have insight into a form of energy manipulation distinct from chakra. Today, we determine who among our ranks can adapt to these techniques. She nodded to Goku, who stepped forward with a casual confidence that some mistook for arrogance, but those who had seen him fight knew better. "Morning everyone." Goku greeted with a wave. "So, I'll try to keep this simple. Where I come from, we use life energy called ki. It's similar to your chakra in some ways, but different in how it moves and how we control it." He held out his hand, forming a small ball of glowing energy. Ki flows through your entire body, not just through specific pathways. The challenge is learning to sense it first, then direct it without using hand signs or the chakra network you're used to. And this will help us fight these dimensional creatures? Anko asked skeptically. Yep. Yesterday we discovered that hybrid energy, a mix of ki and chakra, works really well against them. Pure chakra gets absorbed, and my pure ki works okay, but they've already started adapting to counter it. The hybrid energy seems to confuse their systems. Naruto and Sasuke have already shown aptitude for this conversion, Tsunade added. We need to identify others who can develop similar capabilities quickly. Where is Sasuke, anyway? Naruto asked, looking around. Special assignment, Kakashi replied without elaboration. Goku continued, first, let's see who can sense ki. Everyone close your eyes and focus on me. He powered up slightly, letting his energy radiate outward. Don't try to see with your eyes or feel with your chakra networks. Just, feel. The gathered Jonin closed their eyes, faces scrunching in concentration. After a minute, Goku asked, anyone feel anything? About a quarter of the group raised their hands, including Guy, Niji, Hinata, and Kurenai. Interesting. Goku observed. The Hyuga clan members sensed it most clearly, probably because your Byakugan already sees energy flow differently. He looked at Guy. And you sensed it because your training already focuses on internal energy beyond chakra. The power of youth transcends all energy systems. Guy declared with a thumbs up. Exactly. Goku agreed enthusiastically, the only person present who didn't find Guy's personality overwhelming. Now, let's try something more active. For the next 2 hours, Goku led them through basic ki sensing and manipulation exercises. Progress was slow but steady. By midday, a handful of Jonin could consistently sense ki energy, and a few had produced flickering, unstable balls of hybrid energy. The Hyuga clan's gentle fist style already deals with energy points, Niji explained as he successfully formed a small hybrid energy sphere above his palm. This isn't entirely dissimilar, just less structured. Exactly. Goku said. You're not forcing the energy through predefined channels, you're letting it flow naturally, then shaping it with your will. Hinata, working nearby, had been quieter in her efforts but was showing remarkable progress. The energy ball above her palm was smaller than Niji's but more stable. That's excellent, Hinata. Goku praised, causing her to blush deeply. Thank you, Goku-san. It feels warm. That's exactly right. Ki should feel warm because it's life energy. You've got really good instincts for this. Naruto watched with a proud grin. See? I told you guys this was awesome. As the training continued, Tsunade pulled Goku aside. What's your assessment? How many do you think can develop combat-viable techniques in time? Goku scratched his chin thoughtfully. Maybe 10 at most. The Hyuga clan members have a clear advantage with their Byakugan. Guy has amazing body awareness from his physical training. Kakashi's picking it up through sheer talent and his Sharingan. A few others show promise. That's fewer than I hoped, Tsunade admitted. Quality over quantity, Goku reassured her. 10 ninja with solid hybrid techniques will be more effective than 100 with half-baked abilities. And everyone else can still fight using taijutsu against these creatures. Fair point. Naruto's progress is particularly impressive. They looked over to where Naruto was now helping Konohamaru attempt the same techniques, demonstrating with surprising patience. He's a natural, Goku agreed. His huge chakra reserves and the Ninetales energy give him an advantage, but it's more than that. He's got the right instincts, like he was meant to do this. Tsunade nodded. He's always been a quick study with the right motivation. And speaking of motivation. She handed Goku a small scroll. Intelligence reports. Sasuke is investigating, but we've received word of similar attacks in other nations. Water Country and Earth Country both reported encounters with crystalline entities yesterday. Goku's expression turned serious. Kaido's expanding his operation. Gathering more energy samples. My thoughts exactly. If he's targeting multiple nations simultaneously, his resources are greater than we initially assumed. Or he's getting desperate, Goku suggested. Rushing to collect as much data as possible before we can organize a proper response. Their conversation was interrupted by a commotion across the training ground. A ninja had collapsed, clutching his chest, energy pathways visibly disturbed beneath his skin. What happened? Tsunade demanded, medical training instantly taking over as she rushed to the man's side. He was attempting to form the hybrid energy, Yamato explained. Then he suddenly gasped and fell. Tsunade's hands glowed green as she assessed the ninja. His chakra network is destabilized, like the pathways have been partially dissolved. Goku knelt beside them, his face troubled. This is what I was worried about. Chakra relies on structured pathways. Ki flows freely. If you try to force too much ki-like energy through chakra channels without proper preparation, it damages the network, Tsunade finished, already working to stabilize the man. Everyone stop. No more attempts until we understand the risks better. The training ground fell silent as medics carried the injured ninja away. Goku stood, his usual carefree demeanor replaced by seriousness. I should have anticipated this, he admitted. Where I come from, ki training starts in childhood, before energy pathways are fully formed. Your chakra system is more rigid, more defined. We need to modify the approach. How? Kakashi asked, stepping forward. Instead of trying to convert chakra directly into ki, we should focus on creating a buffer zone, a space where both energies can interact safely without disrupting established pathways. Goku demonstrated, forming a small ball of ki, then gradually introducing visible traces of what looked like chakra around its edges. Like this, keeping them separate but parallel. That's going to require much more precise control, Niji observed. Yes, but it'll be safer. Better to progress slowly than risk permanent damage to your chakra networks. Tsunade nodded decisively. We'll adjust our approach. Goku, work with those who've shown the most aptitude. The rest will focus on physical combat techniques. Kakashi, I want you to document everything. If we develop a training protocol that works, we'll need to share it with our allies. As the group reorganized, Naruto approached Goku. Hey, is this dangerous for me too? With the Ninetales and all? Goku considered this. Your situation is unique. The Ninetales chakra isn't confined to normal pathways, it's more pervasive throughout your system. That might actually make you less vulnerable to pathway disruption. He smiled reassuringly. But we'll still take it slow, just to be safe. The remainder of the day was spent refining this new approach. By late afternoon, a core group had emerged with genuine promise: Naruto, Niji, Hinata, Guy, Kakashi, and surprisingly, Shikamaru, whose shadow manipulation techniques shared some conceptual similarities with ki control. It's troublesome, Shikamaru sighed after successfully creating a stable hybrid energy sphere, but the principles make sense. Ki is like a shadow cast by life itself, present everywhere but normally unseen. That's actually a really good way of putting it, Goku said, impressed. As the sun began to set, Tsunade called an end to training. Rest tonight. We resume at dawn tomorrow. And remember, no practicing these techniques without supervision. The risk of chakra network damage is too great. The Jonin dispersed, many looking exhausted but determined. Energy manipulation on this level demanded both physical and mental stamina beyond even their rigorous ninja training. "You did great today," Goku told Naruto as they walked back toward the village. "Your control is improving really fast." "Thanks." Naruto grinned, though fatigue showed around his eyes. "I still can't make anything as powerful as that Kamehameha thing, but I'm getting there." "The Kamehameha took me years to master," Goku reminded him. "And I had Master Roshi teaching me directly. The fact that you can form stable hybrid energy after just a day is impressive." Their conversation paused as they rounded a corner and nearly collided with a diplomatic delegation entering the village, ninja from the hidden sand, led by none other than Gaara himself. "Naruto," Gaara greeted with his characteristically calm demeanor. "I was hoping to find you." "Gaara. What are you doing here?" Naruto asked, surprised but pleased to see his friend. "The Kazekage has come to discuss recent events," Temari explained, standing protectively at her brother's side. Her eyes moved to Goku with obvious suspicion. "Including reports of a warrior with impossible powers who fell from the sky." "That would be me," Goku said cheerfully, extending his hand. "I'm Goku." Gaara studied him silently for a moment, then accepted the handshake. "I sense unusual energy from you. Different from chakra." "Yep. It's called ki, life energy from my dimension." "Your dimension," Kankuro repeated skeptically. "It's a long story," Naruto interjected. "But Goku's on our side. He's been helping us fight these weird crystal creatures that this guy Kaido is creating." Gaara's eyes narrowed slightly. "We've encountered similar entities in the Land of Wind. 3 villages attacked in the past day. It's happening everywhere," Naruto realized. "Tsunade just got reports from water and earth countries too. This Kaido is gathering energy samples from across the shinobi world," Gaara concluded. "The question is why?" "We should take this to Tsunade," Naruto suggested. "She's organizing our response." Gaara nodded. "That's why I'm here. The 5 Kage need to coordinate if this threat affects all nations equally." As they headed toward the Hokage Tower, Goku took the opportunity to study Gaara more closely. "You have special energy too," he observed. "Different from Naruto's, but similar in some ways." Was, the Jinchuriki of the One Tail," Gaara explained. "Though Shikaku was extracted, traces of his chakra remain. That's why you could sense my ki immediately," Goku realized. "Tailed beast chakra seems more adaptable, less rigidly structured. Which suggests the tailed beasts might be especially vulnerable to Kaido's harvesting," Gaara concluded grimly. "If he's collecting energy signatures from across dimensions, the unique chakra of the tailed beasts would be particularly valuable. Making all Jinchuriki potential targets," Naruto added, suddenly serious. They arrived at the Hokage Tower to find a situation already developing. Ninja messengers rushed in and out, and the atmosphere was tense. Tsunade was in her office with Kakashi and Shikamaru, maps spread across her desk marked with red dots. "Gaara," she acknowledged with a nod. "I expected we'd be seeing you." "The situation has escalated," the Kazekage replied without preamble. "Sand Village forces have encountered these dimensional entities at multiple locations. They specifically targeted our Jinchuriki records archive." "Knowledge gathering," Shikamaru observed. "He's identifying all potential tailed beast chakra sources. Which confirms our theory that he's particularly interested in unusual energy signatures," Tsunade agreed, gesturing to the map. "Each red marker indicates a confirmed attack. Notice the pattern." Goku studied the map. The attacks formed a rough circle, with a blank area in the center, a remote mountain region on the border between Earth and Waterfall countries. "He's creating a perimeter," Goku realized. "Establishing sensor points in a circle around his base." "That's our working theory," Kakashi confirmed. Sasuke is currently scouting the region with a small ANBU team. If Kaido is harvesting energy from multiple nations, this is no longer just a Leaf Village problem, Gaara said. I propose an alliance, a joint task force to address this threat. Agreed, Tsunade said without hesitation. I've already sent messages to the other Kage suggesting the same. Some may be resistant, Gaara warned. Particularly the Tsuchikage. Old rivalries die hard. They'll have to set those aside, Tsunade replied firmly. This threat affects us all equally. The meeting continued as they discussed logistics and strategy, but Goku found his attention wandering. Something about the energy pattern nagged at him, a familiarity he couldn't quite place. He'd seen something like this before, long ago. Goku? Naruto's voice snapped him back to the present. You okay? You zoned out there. Yeah, just thinking. This circle pattern Kaido's creating, it reminds me of something Frieza once did. He established energy collection points around planet Namek before trying to use its core as an amplifier. Goku approached the map. If Kaido's following a similar approach, he's not just collecting energy, he's preparing to channel it through a central point, creating a massive amplification effect. To what end? Shizun asked, looking troubled. Hard to say without knowing exactly what he's building, but based on those dimensional rifts he's been opening, Goku paused, the realization hitting him. He's trying to create a stable gateway between dimensions. A permanent bridge, not just temporary rifts. That would require extraordinary power, Kakashi noted. Which he's collecting from all these attack sites, Tsunade concluded. Each engagement provides more energy data, more raw power to harvest. And if he succeeds? Gaara asked quietly. Then he could potentially access unlimited dimensions, Goku explained. Harvest energy from countless worlds, becoming more powerful with each new connection. A heavy silence fell over the room as they absorbed the implications. We need to locate his base and shut him down, Tsunade decided. Before he completes whatever he's building. I can help with that, Goku offered. If I can get close enough to one of these sensor points during an active energy collection, I might be able to trace the energy flow back to its source, kind of like following a river to its mouth. That would put you at risk of having your own energy harvested, Shikamaru pointed out. Worth it if it leads us to Kaido, Goku replied with a shrug. Besides, I've gotten pretty good at hiding my power level when needed. Tsunade nodded decisively. We'll organize reconnaissance teams to monitor known attack sites. When the next one occurs, we'll deploy immediately with Goku at the center of our response. In the meantime, Gaara added, we should continue developing these hybrid energy techniques. If they're effective against Kaido's creatures, all nations should have defenders capable of utilizing them. Agreed. Goku, can you work with Sand Village Ninja as well? Sure thing. The more, the better. As the meeting concluded, night had fallen over Konoha. Tsunade assigned quarters for Gaara and his entourage, and Ninja departed to prepare for what was quickly becoming a multinational crisis. Man, this escalated fast, Naruto commented as he and Goku headed back toward his apartment. Yesterday it was just us dealing with some weird creatures, now all 5 nations are involved. That's how these things usually go, Goku replied with a wry smile. Start with one guy falling out of the sky, end with world-threatening danger and unlikely alliances. Story of my life, Naruto laughed. So, what's the plan for tomorrow? More training. Yep, but with a twist. Now that we know what we're dealing with, we need to adapt our training. Kaido's harvesting energy, so we need techniques that can disrupt that process specifically. Goku's stomach growled loudly. But first, dinner. All this strategy talk works up an appetite. Ichiraku it is. The ramen shop was busy that evening, but Tucci immediately cleared space for them at the counter. My 2 best customers. The usual. Triple it. Naruto grinned. We've been training all day. As they ate, the conversation around them buzzed with speculation about the strange attacks and the mysterious warrior from another dimension. Goku seemed oblivious to the attention, focused entirely on his ramen, but Naruto noticed the sidelong glances and whispers. "Does it ever bother you?" he asked quietly. "Being the center of attention wherever you go?" Goku looked up, slurping a noodle. "Not really. Back home, I'm pretty famous after all the tournaments and world-saving stuff, but most people just let me be. It was weird at first, but you get used to it. I always wanted people to notice me," Naruto admitted. "To acknowledge me. But sometimes now that they do, it feels, I don't know, heavy. Like they're expecting things from me all the time." "That's the responsibility part of having power," Goku said, surprisingly insightful despite his casual tone. "My friend Gohan, that's my oldest son, he struggled with that a lot. He has incredible potential but never really wanted to be a fighter. Had to find his own path. And you were okay with that? Him not following in your footsteps?" "Of course. Everyone has to find their own way. I just want my kids to be happy. Gohan's a scholar now, still trains enough to help when needed, but his heart's in research and family. Goten's more like me, loves fighting and adventure." Goku grinned. "The important thing is they both know who they are." Naruto stirred his ramen thoughtfully. "I've always known I wanted to be Hokage. To protect everyone and be acknowledged as the strongest. But sometimes I wonder if I'm doing it for the right reasons." "The fact that you're wondering probably means you are," Goku replied. "The worst leaders never question their motives." Their philosophical conversation was interrupted when Sasuke appeared beside their table, his expression grim. "You're back!" Naruto exclaimed. "Did you find Kaido's hideout?" "No," Sasuke replied tersely. "But I found something else." He placed a small crystal on the counter, similar to the remains of the creatures they'd fought, but larger and more refined. This was at the center of an attack site in Earth Country. "It's not just storing energy, it's processing it somehow." Goku picked up the crystal, examining it carefully. As soon as his fingers touched it, the crystal glowed with an inner light, reacting to his ki. "Interesting," he murmured. "It's tuned to respond to energy signatures. Almost like a key." "A key to what?" Naruto asked. "I'm not sure yet. But it's definitely part of whatever network Kaido is building." Goku closed his eyes, focusing on the crystal. "There's a resonance pattern embedded in it, complex, multi-layered. Almost like it's designed to." He was cut off as the crystal suddenly pulsed brightly, emitting a high-pitched whine. Before any of them could react, it shattered in Goku's hand, releasing a burst of energy that briefly illuminated his skeletal structure like an X-ray. "Goku!" Naruto shouted in alarm. Goku shook his hand, wincing. "I'm okay. But that wasn't a coincidence. The crystal was rigged to self-destruct if analyzed too closely, and to sample the energy of whoever was examining it. A trap," Sasuke concluded. "And you triggered it. Which means Kaido now has a direct sample of my energy signature," Goku said grimly. "And knows exactly where we are." As if on cue, a distant explosion rocked the village, coming from the direction of the main gate. Alarms immediately began to sound. "Right on time," Sasuke muttered. They rushed toward the gate, joined by other ninja responding to the alert. What they found was chaos, a swarm of crystalline entities, more evolved than any they'd seen before, pouring through a tear in the air just outside the village boundary. These creatures were different, humanoid in shape, with defined features and what appeared to be armor made of the same crystalline material. They moved with purpose and coordination, forming battle lines and using actual tactics instead of simply attacking blindly. "They've evolved again," Kakashi observed, arriving beside them. "And they're organized. They're not just creatures anymore," Goku realized. "They're soldiers." As the Konoha forces engaged the Crystal Army, the difference became even clearer. These entities used weapons, crystalline swords and projectiles that disrupted chakra on contact. Ninja who tried using ninjutsu found their techniques not just absorbed but actively countered. Physical attacks only. Tsunade commanded from the front lines, her superhuman strength shattering crystal soldiers with each blow. And watch for energy disruption. Goku transformed into Super Saiyan immediately, golden aura flaring around him. Naruto, Sasuke, let's try to close that dimensional tear. Without reinforcements, we can handle the ones already here. The three warriors fought their way toward the rift, combining their different fighting styles with devastating effect. Naruto created shadow clones infused with hybrid energy, each capable of disrupting the crystal soldiers on contact. Sasuke's Sharingan allowed him to predict and counter their movements, his sword enhanced with the same hybrid energy. And Goku moved like a golden comet through their ranks, each blow precise and devastating. Yet even he noticed something concerning. These soldiers seemed specifically designed to resist his attacks, their crystalline structures bending rather than breaking when struck with pure ki. They've adapted to counter me specifically, he called to the others. The hybrid energy still works better. As they neared the rift, a larger figure stepped through, a crystalline general of sorts, twice the size of the regular soldiers and pulsing with harvested energy. It fixed its gaze directly on Goku. Target identified, it spoke in a disturbing, resonant voice. Primary objective, energy acquisition from subject Saiyan. It talks. Naruto exclaimed. These things can talk now. They're evolving rapidly, Sasuke observed. Learning, adapting. The crystal general raised its arms, and the surrounding soldiers immediately changed formation, creating a channeling pattern with the general at its center. Energy began to flow between them, building toward some kind of combined attack. Look out! Goku shouted, recognizing the danger. They're pooling their energy. The combined blast fired directly at Goku, who crossed his arms to block. The energy struck him with tremendous force, driving him backward despite his Super Saiyan strength. More concerning, he felt the attack doing exactly what Kaido had described earlier, sampling his energy, analyzing his power. We need to shut down that rift, he called, recovering quickly. They'll just keep coming otherwise. On it. Naruto formed his signature cross sign. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. Hundreds of Naruto clones appeared, charging toward the rift from all angles. The crystal soldiers moved to intercept, but there were simply too many. Dozens of clones reached the rift, each carrying the hybrid energy they'd been practicing. Now, the original Naruto commanded. All the clones pressed their hybrid energy into the edges of the dimensional tear simultaneously. The effect was immediate, the rift began to destabilize, its edges fluctuating wildly. The crystal general observed this and immediately changed tactics. Abort primary objective. Initiate contingency extraction. It raised a crystalline hand toward Goku, and a beam of energy shot forth, not as an attack, but as a scanning wave that passed over his body. Goku felt nothing physically, but his instincts screamed danger. It's copying my energy signature, he realized, launching himself toward the general. Before he could reach it, the rift began to collapse inward, pulling the remaining crystal soldiers back through. The general stepped backward into the shrinking tier. Signature acquired, it stated flatly. Phase 3 initialization complete. With those ominous words, it disappeared through the rift just before Naruto's clone succeeded in forcing it closed completely. The battlefield fell silent as ninja surveyed the aftermath. Dozens of shattered crystal soldiers lay on the ground, already beginning to dissolve into energy that dissipated into the air. But the damage had been done, the general had escaped with whatever data it had collected from Goku. What was that thing talking about? Naruto asked, dismissing his remaining clones. Phase 3. Nothing good, Goku replied grimly. That wasn't just an attack, it was a targeted data collection. They came specifically for me, to analyze my energy at the Super Saiyan level. Which means Kaido is preparing something specifically designed to counter or harness your powers, Kakashi concluded, joining them at the former site of the rift. Or replicate them, Sasuke added. That crystal general was far more advanced than anything we've seen before. Almost like it was trying to evolve toward Scion capabilities. The implications were troubling. If Kaido could create crystalline entities that mimicked Scion powers, the threat level would increase exponentially. We need to accelerate our plans, Tsunade decided as she approached, relatively unharmed from the battle. Find Kaido's base before he can implement whatever Phase 3 entails. The attack pattern should give us a better idea of the center point, Sasuke said. With this new data, we can narrow down the search area. I might be able to trace the energy signature from the rift, Goku added. Now that I've felt it directly, I should be able to sense similar energy sources if we get close enough to the origin point. Then we move at dawn, Tsunade declared. Sasuke, gather your reconnaissance data and coordinate with the intelligence division. Naruto, Goku, rest and recover. Tomorrow may be even more challenging. As the cleanup began, Goku knelt beside one of the larger crystal fragments that hadn't yet dissolved. He closed his eyes, focusing his senses on the energy residue. What are you doing? Naruto asked. Trying to get a read on the energy signature, Goku explained. There's something familiar about it, something I can't quite place. He opened his eyes, looking troubled. It's like Kaido isn't just harvesting energy, he's trying to synthesize it, combine different types in specific patterns. Is that even possible? Theoretically, yes. Back in my world, scientists have tried similar experiments, usually with catastrophic results. Energy types exist in balance for a reason. Forcing them together artificially can create instabilities. Like when I try to mix my chakra with the Nine-Tails chakra without proper control, Naruto realized. Exactly. But on a much larger scale. Goku stood, dusting off his hands. The good news is, artificial combinations are never as strong as natural ones. Your hybrid energy works because you're developing it organically, adapting your own system. Whatever Kaido's creating will have fundamental weaknesses. We just have to figure out what those weaknesses are, Sasuke concluded. Naruto yawned widely, the fatigue of the day's events finally catching up with him. After we get some sleep. I'm beat. The village gradually quieted as repair teams worked and security patrols doubled. At Naruto's apartment, Goku sat cross-legged on the floor while Naruto collapsed onto his bed. Hey, Goku. Naruto asked sleepily. Do you think we'll win this? Against Kaido, I mean. Goku smiled. We always find a way. In all my years fighting impossible enemies, that's the one constant. There's always a way to win if you don't give up and keep getting stronger. That's my ninja way too, Naruto murmured, already drifting towards sleep. Never give up. Morning came too quickly, dawn breaking over a village still repairing from the previous night's attack. Goku and Naruto arrived at the Hokage Tower to find a war council already in session. Representatives from Sand, Mist, and even Cloud villages had arrived overnight, recognizing the shared threat. Maps covered the walls, attack sites marked in red, with a central region circled in the mountainous border between Earth and Waterfall countries. Based on triangulation from all reported attacks, we believe Kaido's base is somewhere in this 20-square-mile region, Shikamaru was explaining as they entered. Heavily forested, mountainous, minimal population, ideal for hiding large-scale operations. Our scouts report unusual energy fluctuations throughout the area, a Cloud ninja added. But no specific location has been pinpointed. That's where I come in, Goku stepped forward. If I can get close enough, I should be able to sense the concentration of dimensional energy. Tsunade nodded. We've organized a multinational strike team. Small, elite, capable of moving quickly and adapting to unknown threats. She gestured to a group standing to the side, Kakashi, Guy, Niji, a sand ninja Goku didn't recognize, and a stern-looking Cloud Jonin. Where's Sasuke? Naruto asked. Already in position, Kakashi answered. He's been tracking energy signatures through the night. What about me? Naruto demanded. I'm coming too, right? Tsunade hesitated. Naruto, as a Jinchuriki, you're potentially a primary target. If Kaido is specifically harvesting unique energy signatures, all the more reason I should go. Naruto interrupted. My hybrid energy techniques are stronger than almost anyone's, and I've been training directly with Goku. You need me on this mission. Gaara, who had been silent until now, spoke up. I agree with Naruto. Keeping him away from danger also keeps him away from where he can be most effective. I would go myself if not for my Kazekage duties requiring my return to Sand. Tsunade sighed, recognizing the logic. Very well. But you stay with the team. No rushing ahead, no solo heroics. You got it, Grandma Tsunade. The mission is reconnaissance only, she emphasized to the entire team. Locate Kaido's base, assess his operation, then report back. We'll organize a full-scale assault once we know what we're dealing with. Unless there's an immediate threat that needs addressing, Kakashi added realistically. Which, let's be honest, there probably will be, Guy said with a grin. The team gathered their supplies and prepared to move out. As they headed toward the village gate, Hinata appeared, rushing toward them with a small package. Naruto-kun, she called, her face flushed. I prepared some medical supplies for your journey. Special ointment that might help if those crystal creatures injure anyone. Thanks, Hinata. Naruto accepted the package with a bright smile. That's super thoughtful of you. Hinata blushed deeper but managed to add, I've been practicing the key techniques too. When you return, perhaps we could train together. Definitely. You were getting really good at it yesterday. Goku watched this exchange with amusement, recognizing the dynamics at play even if Naruto seemed oblivious to Hinata's feelings. As they left the village and took to the trees, moving in the swift, efficient manner of ninja, Kakashi laid out their approach. We'll travel for 6 hours northeast, then make camp at the edge of the target zone. From there, Goku and Neji will use their respective sensing abilities to narrow down our search area. I'll use Byakugan to scan for unusual chakra patterns or structures, Neji explained. While Goku searches for the specific dimensional energy signature. Works for me, Goku agreed. I've been thinking about that energy, it has a unique resonance frequency. Once we're close enough, I should be able to pinpoint it. The journey took them through Fire Country's forests, then into the more rugged terrain of the border regions. As promised, after 6 hours of travel, they made camp in a sheltered valley just outside their search area. We'll rest for 2 hours, then begin our approach under cover of darkness, Kakashi decided. Neji, take first watch. As the others prepared a cold camp, no fires that might give away their position, Goku sat cross-legged at the edge of the clearing, eyes closed in deep meditation. Naruto watched him curiously for a while before approaching. What are you doing? He asked quietly. Extending my senses, Goku replied without opening his eyes. Trying to get a feel for the energy patterns in this area. There's definitely something unusual about 20 miles northwest of here, a concentration of energy that doesn't feel natural. Can you teach me to sense that far? Eventually, sure. It takes practice though. Start smaller, try sensing the energy of everyone in our camp without looking at them. Naruto closed his eyes, focusing as Goku had taught him. I can feel Kakashi-sensei, his energy is calm but alert. And Gai-sensei's energy is, wow, it's intense even when he's sitting still. Niji's is precise, controlled. The sand and cloud ninja feel more distant, less familiar. Good. Goku opened his eyes, impressed. You're picking this up faster than I expected. Now try expanding your awareness outward, beyond the camp. Naruto concentrated harder, his face scrunching with effort. After a minute, his eyes snapped open in surprise. There's something out there. About a mile west, moving fast, feels cold somehow. Goku nodded grimly. I sense it too. Patrol unit, crystalline entities, similar to what attacked the village but smaller, more streamlined. Should we alert the others? Not yet. They're not heading this way, just passing through. Probably a perimeter guard. Naruto sat beside Goku, a new respect in his eyes. How do you stay so calm? Knowing there's danger but just, observing it. Experience, mostly, Goku admitted. And knowing when a fight is necessary versus when it's smarter to gather information. Took me a long time to learn that lesson. I used to jump into every battle headfirst. That sounds like me, Naruto laughed softly. Nothing wrong with enthusiasm. But sometimes patience wins battles that power can't. Goku stretched his arms overhead. You should rest while you can. Tomorrow will be challenging. What about you? Saiyans need less sleep than humans. I'll keep watch with Niji. As predicted, dawn brought new challenges. The team moved out under Kakashi's leadership, following Goku's sense of the energy concentration. The terrain became increasingly difficult, dense forest giving way to rocky foothills, then steeper mountain paths. The energy signature is stronger now, Goku reported as they paused on a ridge overlooking a deep valley. Definitely coming from somewhere in that direction. Niji activated his Byakugan, veins bulging around his eyes as he scanned the area. There's an unusual structure built into the mountain face about 3 miles ahead. Heavily shielded from normal chakra detection, but I can see faint energy patterns flowing into it from multiple directions. Like rivers flowing to a lake, Goku observed. Exactly what we suspected, he's channeling energy from all those attack sites to a central collection point. Can you make out any details of the facility? Kakashi asked. 3 levels visible, Niji replied, still scanning. The outer layer appears to be a standard mountain fortress, but inside, there's some kind of massive crystalline structure. And he frowned, concentrating harder. There are people inside, but they don't look normal. Their chakra networks are altered somehow. Could be ninja working for Kaido, the Cloud Jonin suggested. Or test subjects, Goku said grimly. If he's experimenting with energy manipulation, he might be using human subjects to test his theories. This sobering possibility hung over the team as they plotted their approach. The facility's location, nestled into the mountainside with minimal cover on the approach, made a stealthy advance challenging. We need closer reconnaissance, Kakashi decided. Naruto, your shadow clones would be ideal for this, but their energy might be detectable. What about Sasuke? Naruto asked. Wasn't he already scouting this area? He should have reached the far side of the mountain by now, Kakashi confirmed. We plan to rendezvous near the facility. As if summoned by his name, Sasuke appeared silently beside them, crouched low to avoid detection. The facility has 6 entry points, he reported without preamble. All heavily guarded by those crystal soldiers. They're more evolved than the ones that attacked Konoha, more humanoid, more intelligent. They communicate with each other and use actual strategies. What about Kaido himself? Goku asked. Centrally located, in what appears to be a laboratory built around a massive crystal pillar. He's conducting some kind of experiment, channeling energy from the pillar into smaller crystals. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. And he's not alone. There are prisoners, ninja from various villages being used to test his theories. Then this isn't just reconnaissance anymore, Naruto declared. We have to help them. Kakashi raised a hand for patience. We need a plan. Rushing in will only alert Kaido to our presence. I agree with Naruto, Guy said seriously. If there are captives being experimented on, our duty is clear. Agreed, Niji added. But Kakashi-sensei is right about needing a strategy. Goku, who had been quiet, suddenly tensed. Something's happening. The energy levels from the facility just spiked dramatically. Niji immediately activated his Byakugan again. He's right. The central crystal is pulsing with increased power. And there's something forming above the facility. Some kind of distortion in space. He's opening another dimensional rift, Goku realized. A bigger one than before. Their decision was made for them as a massive tear opened in the sky above the mountain facility, far larger than any they'd seen previously. Unlike the purple-gold vortex that had brought Goku to this world, this rift was an angry red wound in reality, its edges jagged and unstable. That doesn't look controlled, Goku observed with concern. The energy patterns are chaotic, unbalanced. He's rushing, Sasuke concluded. Perhaps because he knows we're closing in. As they watched, crystalline entities began emerging from the rift, not soldiers this time, but larger, more monstrous creations. They resembled predatory beasts, with multiple limbs and pulsing cores visible through their translucent bodies. Those aren't from this dimension, Goku said with certainty. Their energy signature is completely alien. He's not just creating artificial life, Kakashi realized. He's pulling creatures from other dimensions. We need to shut that rift down now, Goku declared, dropping all pretense of a stealth mission. If those things spread beyond this area, villages won't stand a chance against them. The team quickly devised a plan. Goku, Naruto, and Guy would create a diversion at the main entrance, drawing attention and hopefully Kaido's personal interest. Meanwhile, Sasuke, Kakashi, Niji, and the others would infiltrate through a secondary entrance, locate the prisoners, and disrupt the energy channeling system. Once inside, I should be able to find the mechanism generating the rift, Goku explained. Dimensional tiers like that require a stable anchor point, destroy that, and the rift should collapse. And Kaido? Naruto asked. He's mine, Sasuke said coldly. His experiments have killed innocent people across 5 nations. This ends today. The plan set, they moved into position. Goku, Naruto, and Guy approached the main entrance directly, no subtlety, no stealth, just 3 powerful warriors walking straight toward the fortress gates. The crystal soldiers on guard immediately formed a defensive line, weapons raised. Goku stepped forward, hands relaxed at his sides. We're here to see Kaido, he announced simply. Tell him Son Goku wants to talk about dimensional energy. The soldiers didn't respond verbally, but their formation tightened. Energy began to build in their crystalline weapons. I guess that's a no, Naruto observed. Seems that way, Goku agreed with a slight smile. Plan B, then. I like Plan B better anyway. Guy exclaimed, dropping into his fighting stance. The direct approach is always more youthful. Goku's aura flared gold as he transformed into Super Saiyan, the shockwave from his transformation staggering the front line of soldiers. Naruto formed his cross sign, creating dozens of shadow clones infused with hybrid energy. And Guy removed his weights, the ground cracking beneath them as they hit the earth. Let's go. Goku called, and the 3 warriors launched their attack. The battle was intense but one-sided. Despite their evolution, the crystal soldiers were no match for a Super Saiyan, a Jinchuriki, and a Taijutsu master. They shattered by the dozens under the combined assault, their crystalline remains scattering across the entranceway. Inside the facility, alarms blared. Goku sensed energy signatures moving, converging, exactly as they'd hoped. The diversion was working. Phase 2, he called to his companions. Let's move inside. They pushed through the entrance, fighting their way down a long corridor lined with strange, pulsing crystals that seemed to be monitoring and relaying information. The architectural style was bizarre, a fusion of traditional ninja fortress design with alien crystalline technology integrated into every surface. This place feels wrong, Naruto commented as they ran. Like it's half in our world and half somewhere else. That's probably not far from the truth, Goku replied. Kaido's been experimenting with dimensional boundaries. The normal rules of physics might be compromised in here. They reached a central chamber, a massive circular room dominated by a towering crystal pillar that pulsed with multicolored energy. Catwalks and platforms surrounded it at various levels, and standing on the highest platform was Kaito himself, hands raised as he manipulated the energy flow. "Kaito!" Goku called up to him. "Shut down the rift. You're pulling through entities you can't control." Kaito looked down, his shifting eyes widening in surprise, then narrowing with calculation. Son Goku. Earlier than expected, but right on schedule nonetheless. His gaze moved to Naruto. And the Ninetales Jinchuriki as well. How convenient. What are you doing? Naruto demanded. People are dying because of your experiments. Creating the future, Kaito replied simply. Merging dimensions, harvesting powers beyond your comprehension. The casualties are regrettable but necessary steps toward transcendence. As he spoke, more crystal soldiers poured into the chamber from side entrances, quickly surrounding the three warriors. These were different again, more refined, their features almost perfect replicas of human form, but with an unsettling crystalline quality. Your latest creations. Goku observed. They're getting better. Dimensional replicants, Kaito explained with evident pride. Synthetic beings capable of mimicking abilities they encounter. And they've already sampled yours, Scion. On cue, several of the replicants began to transform, a golden crystalline aura forming around them in a disturbing parody of Goku's Super Saiyan state. That's unsettling, Guy commented. They can only mimic the form, not the substance, Goku said, studying them carefully. The energy signature is all wrong, artificial, unstable. Perhaps, Kaito conceded. But they improve with each iteration. And I have something special prepared for you. He made a complex hand sign, and a section of the floor opened. From the opening rose a larger crystal formation, humanoid but twice Goku's size, with a core that pulsed with familiar energy. You recognize it, don't you? Kaito asked, noting Goku's expression. I call it the Scion Proxy. Created using the energy samples my collectors gathered from you, particularly during your Super Saiyan transformation. The massive crystal being stepped forward, its body language mirroring Goku's fighting stance perfectly. When it spoke, the voice was a distorted version of Goku's own. Target acquired. Commencing power analysis. Okay, that's just creepy, Naruto muttered. Guy laughed. A worthy challenge. But a copy is never as good as the original. Goku wasn't so certain. The energy emanating from the proxy felt disturbingly similar to his own, not identical, but close enough to suggest it might possess some of his techniques. Naruto, Guy, handle the regular replicants, he instructed. I'll take on my duplicate. With pleasure. Guy shouted, already launching himself at the nearest group of crystal soldiers. Seventh gate, Gate of Wonder, open. Guy's skin turned red as a green aura erupted around him, his power level skyrocketing. He became a blur of movement, shattering crystal soldiers with each devastating blow. Naruto created another wave of shadow clones, each carrying hybrid energy techniques. Let's see how these fakes handle the real thing, he called as his clones engaged the enemy. Goku faced his crystalline counterpart, sizing it up carefully. Impressive work, he admitted to Kaito. But there's more to being a Scion than just copying energy signatures. Enlighten me, Kaito replied with evident curiosity. Consider it a field test. The Scion Proxy attacked first, moving with speed that mimicked Goku's own. Its fighting style was an uncanny replica of his, the same stances, the same approach, even some of his signature combinations. Goku blocked and countered, testing its capabilities. The proxy was strong, possibly equal to his Super Saiyan form in raw power, but its movements lacked the fluidity that came from decades of actual combat experience. You've got the power, Goku acknowledged as he dodged a crystal fist, but not the spirit behind it. The proxy didn't respond to the taunt, simply adjusting its attack pattern. It raised its hands in a familiar position. Ka, me, ha, me. No way, Naruto gasped, glancing over from his own fight. Ha! The proxy fired a crystalline version of Goku's signature attack, a beam of energy that resembled the Kamehameha but glittered with an unnatural light. Goku countered with his own Kamehameha, the two energy beams colliding in the center of the chamber with a thunderous crash. The resulting shockwave staggered everyone nearby, cracking the walls and shaking loose debris from the ceiling. As the beams struggled for dominance, Goku sensed something concerning. The proxy was drawing power directly from the central crystal pillar, its energy reserves potentially limitless as long as that connection remained intact. Naruto, he called. The pillar. We need to disrupt its connection to these creatures. Naruto nodded, understanding immediately. He fought his way toward the base of the crystal pillar, his clones providing cover. When he reached it, he pressed his hands against the surface, focusing his hybrid energy. Let's see how you handle this, he muttered, channeling the Nine-Tails chakra alongside his developing ki control. The effect was immediate. Where his hands touched, the crystal's smooth surface began to fracture, red and blue energy spreading through it like cracks in ice. The proxy faltered momentarily, its beam weakening as the connection fluctuated. Goku seized the opportunity, pouring more power into his Kamehameha. His beam overwhelmed the proxies, striking it directly in the chest. Instead of shattering, however, the crystalline being absorbed the energy, its body growing more luminous. It's adapting. Goku realized. Using my own energy to evolve. Precisely, Kaido called down from his platform. The perfect counter to your abilities, a being that grows stronger the more power you use against it. The proxy's form began to change, its crystalline structure shifting to a new configuration that resembled Goku's Super Saiyan 2 form, spikier, more intense, electricity crackling around its surface. That's not good, Goku muttered. Meanwhile, across the chamber, Guy was single-handedly decimating scores of crystal soldiers, his seventh gate power overwhelming their defenses. But even his superhuman stamina had limits, and the strain of maintaining the gate was becoming visible. There's too many, he called, his voice strained. They keep reforming from the remnants. Naruto continued his assault on the crystal pillar, but progress was slow. The structure was massively resilient, and for every crack he created, energy from above would flow down to repair it. We need something bigger, Naruto realized. Something that can disrupt the entire system at once. Above them, Kaido seemed unconcerned by their efforts. Struggle all you want, he called down. The dimensional nexus is already active, drawing energy from multiple realities. Soon, I'll have access to powers you can't even imagine. A thunderous explosion from elsewhere in the facility interrupted whatever else he might have said. The walls shook, and Kaido's expression changed to one of alarm. What? Impossible. Goku grinned, still engaged in combat with the evolving proxy. Sounds like the rest of our team found something important. Across the facility, Sasuke, Kakashi, and the others had infiltrated the lower levels, fighting their way through fewer but more specialized crystal guards. They'd located the prisoner cells, freeing dozens of captured ninja who had been used for Kaido's experiments. The energy collection system is through there, one freed mist ninja informed them, pointing to a heavily sealed door. He's using captives to test the effects of dimensional energy on chakra networks. Sasuke's Sharingan activated as he examined the door. Complex sealing jutsu, backed by some kind of crystalline technology. Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi nodded, lifting his headband to reveal his own Sharingan. Together, they analyzed the seal pattern, identifying the key nodes. Chidori should disrupt it, Kakashi concluded. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Lightning chakra formed around both their hands as they struck the door simultaneously, their combined Chidori techniques overloading the seal. The door exploded inward, revealing a laboratory filled with strange equipment and bubbling tanks containing swirling energy. Niji's Byakugan activated, scanning the room. There, That device is channeling energy up to the main chamber. The device in question was a complex array of crystals surrounding a central orb that pulsed with the same multicolored energy as the main pillar. Tubes and conduits extended from it in all directions, feeding power throughout the facility. "Destroy it," Sasuke ordered, already forming hand signs. Fire style, Great Dragon Flame Jutsu. A massive dragon of flame erupted from his mouth, engulfing the device. The other ninja joined in, each targeting different parts of the system with their most powerful attacks. The explosion rocked the entire mountain, the shockwave traveling up through the facility to the main chamber where Goku, Naruto, and Guy continued their battle. The effect was immediate, the crystal pillar flickered, its energy flow disrupted. The proxy fighting Goku stumbled, its form destabilizing momentarily. And above them, Kaido's expression transformed from confidence to panic. No. The auxiliary power system. He frantically worked controls on his platform, trying to stabilize the energy flow. The dimensional alignment is critical. If the harmonic resonance fails now, he never finished the sentence. The massive rift in the sky above the facility, visible through a large skylight in the chamber's ceiling, began to fluctuate wildly, its edges pulsing and distorting. "That doesn't look stable," Guy observed, pausing in his battle as even the crystal soldiers seemed momentarily confused by the development. "Because it's not," Goku replied grimly. "The rift is collapsing, but not cleanly. Without controlled containment, the dimensional energies will." A massive surge of power burst from the rift, striking the crystal pillar. The entire chamber filled with blinding light as energy cascaded through the system. The proxy absorbed much of it, its form growing and distorting beyond its original parameters. "Too much power." Goku shouted over the roar of energy. "It can't contain it." The proxy began to fracture, light pouring from cracks in its crystalline body. With a sound like shattering glass amplified 1,000-fold, it exploded, sending razor-sharp crystal shards in all directions. "Get down." Goku grabbed Naruto and Guy, pulling them behind a fallen section of catwalk for cover as crystal fragments embedded themselves in walls, floor, and ceiling. When the rain of shards ended, they emerged to find the chamber in chaos. The crystal pillar was destabilizing, energy arcing from it in random directions. The remaining crystal soldiers had either been destroyed in the explosion or were malfunctioning, moving erratically or simply standing frozen. And Kaido was nowhere to be seen on his platform. Where did he go? Naruto demanded, scanning the chamber. A laugh drew their attention upward. Kaido hovered in the center of the chamber, surrounded by a sphere of swirling dimensional energy. His body was changing, crystalline growths emerging from his skin, his eyes now pools of shifting light. "You're too late," he called down to them. "The process has begun. I'm absorbing the dimensional energies directly now, becoming one with the spaces between worlds." "That's suicide," Goku said, recognizing the danger. "No human body can contain that much unfiltered dimensional energy." "Human." Kaido laughed again, the sound distorted and echoing strangely. "I'm transcending humanity. Becoming something new, a being that exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously." As if to demonstrate, parts of his body began to phase in and out of visibility, appearing translucent then solid again. The crystalline growth spread further across his skin. "We need to shut down that rift before he absorbs more energy," Goku told the others. "And we need to get everyone out of this facility. When that pillar goes critical, and it will, the dimensional backlash could tear a hole in reality for miles around." "I'll evacuate the prisoners," Guy volunteered. "My youth will ensure their swift escape." "I'll help," Naruto added. "My clones can lead groups out through different exits." "And I'll deal with Kaido," Goku decided, his expression grim. "He's the anchor point for the dimensional energy now, the human component stabilizing the connection between worlds." As Guy and Naruto raced to organize the evacuation, Sasuke, Kakashi, and the others arrived in the main chamber, having fought their way up from below. "The facility is rigged to self-destruct," Kakashi reported. We found timing mechanisms connected to the power system. How long? Goku asked. Minutes at most. Less now that the system is destabilized. Sasuke studied Kaido's transformed state with his Sharingan. His chakra network is completely overtaken by the foreign energy. It's consuming him from within, replacing his cellular structure with crystalline material. He won't survive the transformation, Goku concluded. But he could take half the continent with him when he destabilizes. Above them, Kaido continued to change, his body now more crystal than flesh, energy pouring from his eyes and mouth. I can see everything, he announced, his voice barely recognizable. All dimensions, all possibilities. The knowledge, the power. Kaido. Goku called up to him. You need to release the energy. Your body can't contain it. Contain it? I am it. Kaido spread his arms, and the rift above the facility expanded suddenly, doubling in size. Soon, all barriers between dimensions will fall. All energy will be mine to command. Goku's expression hardened. No more talking. He turned to Sasuke and Kakashi. Help with the evacuation. I'm going to end this. Without waiting for a response, Goku's aura flared brilliantly as he ascended to Super Saiyan 2, electricity crackling around his golden form. Unlike his previous transformations in this world, which he had kept controlled, this time he let his power surge to its full potential. The shockwave from the transformation staggered everyone nearby, the very air seeming to vibrate with energy. Goku rose into the air, levitating to face Kaido directly. Last chance, he offered. Release the dimensional energy willingly, or I'll have to remove it forcibly. Kaido's distorted face formed what might have been a smile. You still don't understand. I'm not just channeling this power, I'm becoming one with it. Kill me, and you'll trigger an interdimensional collapse that will destroy both our worlds. I don't believe that, Goku replied simply. Energy always follows patterns, even dimensional energy. There's always a way to redirect it safely. Without further warning, he attacked, not with a ki blast, but with precise, targeted strikes at specific points on Kaido's crystallizing body. Each blow struck a junction where energy flowed between crystal and remaining flesh, disrupting the transformation process. Kaido screamed, the sound echoing across multiple frequency ranges simultaneously. He lashed out with tendrils of dimensional energy that cut through the air like whips. Goku dodged most, but one caught him across the chest, leaving a burn that sizzled with unnatural energy. He grimaced but pressed his attack, analyzing the energy flow patterns as he fought. Below, the evacuation continued in organized chaos. Naruto's shadow clones led groups of prisoners and allied ninja toward exits, while Sasuke and Kakashi worked to stabilize critical sections of the facility long enough for everyone to escape. 2 minutes until complete structural failure, Neji warned, his Byakugan tracking the spreading cracks in the crystalline infrastructure. Almost everyone's out, Naruto reported, dismissing another group of clones whose memories confirmed safe passage. Just us left. Above them, the battle between Goku and Kaido had reached a critical point. Kaido's transformation was nearly complete, his body now a crystalline entity pulsing with dimensional energy. But Goku had identified the pattern, the flow of energy had consistent nodes, points where the conversion process concentrated. I see it now, Goku murmured. He gathered ki in both hands, but instead of firing it as a destructive blast, he began to shape it into a complex, spiraling pattern. This is something Whis taught me, energy redirection at the quantum level. The ki in his hands formed a three-dimensional matrix, spinning and shifting in perfect counterpoint to the dimensional energy flowing through Kaido. What is that? Kaido demanded, a note of fear entering his distorted voice for the first time. Balance, Goku replied simply, and thrust the matrix forward. When it contacted Kaido's crystalline form, there was no explosion, no dramatic blast. Instead, the matrix expanded, surrounding Kaido completely, then began to contract, not crushing him, but compressing the dimensional energy, forcing it into a stable, controlled pattern. Kaido screamed again, but the sound faded as the matrix continued its work, extracting the dimensional energy from his body and condensing it into a small, perfectly formed crystal sphere. When the process completed, what remained of Kaido, now mostly human again, dropped to the chamber floor, unconscious but alive. The crystal sphere hovered in the air where he had been, containing all the dimensional energy that had been transforming him. Goku carefully took the sphere in one hand, examining it with satisfaction. Got it. What is that? Naruto asked as Goku descended to the floor. All the dimensional energy Kaido absorbed, compressed into a stable form. Goku held up the sphere, which shimmered with inner light. But it won't last long, the compression is temporary. What do we do with it? Kakashi asked. I need to return it to the dimensional rift before it destabilizes completely, Goku explained. That should allow the rift to close naturally, without the catastrophic collapse Kaido was risking. A violent tremor shook the facility, chunks of ceiling beginning to fall around them. We're out of time, Sasuke warned. This place is coming down. Get everyone to safety, Goku instructed. I'll handle the rift. We're not leaving you. Naruto protested. Goku smiled. I'll be right behind you. Promise. Something in his tone must have convinced them, because Kakashi nodded and began ushering everyone toward the exit. Naruto lingered a moment longer. You better keep that promise, he said seriously. Scion's honor, Goku replied with a grin. Now go. Once they were gone, Goku looked up at the rift still churning above the facility. Its edges were fluctuating wildly, dimensional energies bleeding through in unpredictable patterns. Time to clean up this mess, he muttered. He flew upward, the crystal sphere containing Kaido's harvested energy clutched carefully in one hand. As he approached the rift, he could feel its pull, the chaotic energies recognizing their own kind in the sphere. When he reached the edge of the rift, Goku hesitated briefly. I hope this works, he said to no one in particular, then thrust the sphere into the center of the dimensional tear. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The sphere expanded rapidly, the compressed energy released in a controlled burst that spread throughout the rift. Instead of tearing reality further, it seemed to mend it, the jagged edges smoothing, the angry red energy cooling to a more stable purple gold similar to the vortex that had first brought Goku to this world. That's it, Goku encouraged, as if talking to the rift itself. Find your balance. The rift began to contract, drawing in the loose dimensional energies that had been leaking into the world. As it shrank, Goku sensed something new, a familiar resonance, a connection to somewhere he recognized. Home, he whispered, suddenly certain. This rift, now stabilizing, connected directly to his own dimension. For a brief, tempting moment, Goku considered simply flying through, returning to his world, his family, his life. The pull was almost physical, a sensation of rightness, of belonging. But below, he could sense Naruto and the others waiting anxiously at the edge of the facility's perimeter, watching for him. In the weeks he'd been in this world, he'd formed connections, made promises. There was still work to do here, training to complete, techniques to share. And Kaido, though defeated, wasn't the only threat. The knowledge he'd gathered, the technology he'd developed, others would come seeking it, especially now that the possibility of dimensional travel had been demonstrated. Not yet, Goku decided, backing away from the rift as it continued to contract. But soon. As he watched, the rift closed completely, leaving only a faint shimmer in the air that quickly faded. But Goku knew something the others didn't, he had sensed the dimensional frequency, memorized its pattern. With enough practice, he could potentially recreate a stable connection between worlds. The mountain facility was collapsing in earnest now, massive chunks of crystal and stone falling as the structural integrity failed completely. Goku flew through the destruction, navigating the chaos with casual ease, and emerged from the crumbling entrance just as the entire mountainside began to cave in. He landed beside Naruto and the others, who had retreated to a safe distance with the freed prisoners. Cutting it close. Naruto exclaimed, punching him lightly on the arm. Did it work? Perfectly, Goku confirmed, watching as the facility disappeared in a cloud of dust and debris. The rift is closed, the dimensional energies rebalanced. And Kaido? Sasuke asked. Alive, but unconscious. I left him for your justice system to handle. Most of his power is gone, he's just a regular ninja again. ANBU units that had arrived as reinforcements were already moving in to secure the area and take Kaido into custody. Medical ninja attended to the freed prisoners, many of whom showed signs of Kaido's experiments, unusual energy patterns in their chakra networks, crystalline growths on their skin. Will they recover? Goku asked one of the medical ninja examining a young woman whose arm was partially crystallized. With time, yes, the medic replied. The process seems reversible in its early stages. Those who were further along. She shook her head. We'll do what we can. Kakashi approached, looking as tired as Goku had ever seen him. The Cloud and Mist representatives are organizing transport for their people. Tsunade will want a full report when we return to Konoha. Speaking of returning, Guy added, joining them, we should head back soon. My youthful energy has its limits, even on triumphant days like this. As they prepared for the journey home, Naruto pulled Goku aside. Hey, when the rift was closing. I saw your face. You recognized something, didn't you? Goku hesitated, then nodded. For a moment, I could sense my home dimension. The rift connected directly to it. You could have gone through, Naruto realized. Gone home. I could have, Goku agreed. But it wasn't time yet. There's still too much to do here. Naruto studied his face for a moment, then broke into a broad grin. Well, I'm glad you stayed. We've still got tons of training to do. Goku laughed, the tension of the moment breaking. Definitely. You're just starting to get the hang of key manipulation. Can't leave before you master it properly. The journey back to Konoha took most of a day, the team moving at a measured pace to accommodate the freed prisoners traveling with them. When they arrived, they found the village had prepared a hero's welcome, word of their success having arrived ahead of them via Tsunade's communication network. Villagers lined the streets, cheering as they entered. Children waved handmade signs depicting Goku in his Super Saiyan form alongside Naruto and the other ninja. Someone had even painted a mural on a building showing Goku's Kamehameha wave. Looks like you're officially Konoha's newest hero, Naruto observed with a grin. All I did was help, Goku protested modestly. Everyone played their part. Tsunade was waiting at the Hokage Tower, along with representatives from the other villages. The formal debriefing took hours, with each team member providing their perspective on what had happened at Kaido's facility. So the dimensional thread is contained, Tsunade summarized when they had finished. But the technology Kaido developed is still potentially dangerous, Kakashi confirmed. Though his main facility was destroyed, there could be other outposts, other followers who know parts of his research. We'll need to establish a joint task force to locate and secure any remaining dimensional technology, the Cloud representative suggested. This knowledge is too dangerous to fall into the wrong hands. Agreed, Tsunade said. And we'll need experts who understand what we're dealing with. She looked pointedly at Goku. Your insight will be invaluable. Happy to help however I can, Goku agreed. Though I'm no scientist, I just know what dimensional energy feels like and how it behaves. That's more than any of us knew a month ago, Tsunade pointed out. And the hybrid energy techniques you've been teaching our ninja proved critical in this mission. I'd like you to continue that training program. About that, Goku said, suddenly looking slightly uncomfortable. There's something I should mention. When the rift was closing, I sensed a connection to my home dimension. I think with practice, I might be able to create a stable pathway between our worlds. This revelation caused a stir among the gathered officials. The implications were both exciting and concerning. A controlled connection between dimensions could be beneficial, but also potentially dangerous. You're saying you could travel back and forth between dimensions? The mist representative asked. Eventually, yes, Goku confirmed. It would take time to master, dimensional energy is tricky, but the resonance pattern is clear in my mind now. This requires careful consideration, Tsunade decided. The potential benefits of controlled dimensional travel are significant, but after what we've just experienced with Kaido's experiments. I understand the concern, Goku assured her. I wouldn't attempt anything without proper preparation and safeguards. And I'd want to teach others here how to close any rift I created, just in case. The meeting concluded with agreements for continued cooperation between villages and ongoing investigation of any remaining dimensional technology. As night fell over Konoha, celebrations broke out across the village, partly for their victory over Kaido, partly because news had spread of Goku's decision to stay longer. At Ichiraku Ramen, Goku found himself at the center of a gathering of the ninja he trained and fought alongside, Naruto, Sasuke, who appeared briefly and stoically, Neji, Hinata, Guy, Lee, and others. To victory! Naruto toasted, raising his bowl of ramen high. And to Goku, who showed us a whole new kind of energy. And to Naruto, Goku countered, who learned faster than anyone I've ever taught. The celebration continued late into the night, stories of the battle growing more elaborate with each telling. Guy demonstrated his youthful triumph over the crystal soldiers with increasingly dramatic reenactments. Neji and Hinata discussed the similarities between Byakugan techniques and ki sensing. Even Sasuke contributed occasionally, mostly technical observations about the hybrid energy techniques he'd been refining. As the gathering finally began to disperse in the early hours of the morning, Naruto, something went wrong with this response, please try again. Write the chapter that follows this one. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.